The regular meeting of the Belleville Zoning Board of Adjustment for October 5th, 2023 will come to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Angisa.
Here.
Bennett. Here. Giordano.
Here.
Mabucci.
Here.
Catalino.
Here.
Rinaldi. Here. Soriano.
Here.
Milano.
Yeah.
Del Garcia.
Yeah, here. Okay, everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I
pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, has notice of this meeting been given with accordance to the Sunshine Law?
Certification of the meeting has been advertised according to the Sunshine Law.
Okay. Let's go over, anyone have any questions about the August or September minutes? Or any changes, amendments, whatever? Huh?
Nope.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the August minutes, please?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Oh, you. Motion made by Mr. Petalino, seconded by Mr. Giordano. Clerk, call the roll.
Angisa.
Yes.
Bennett. Yes. Catalino.
Yes.
Soriano.
Yes.
And Del Garcia.
Yes. Okay. And now let's go to the September 7th minutes. Motion to approve. Do I have one? Motion made by Mr. Giordano, seconded.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Bennett. Clerk, call the roll.
Angisa.
Yes.
Bennett. Yes. Giordano.
Yes.
Catalino.
Yes.
Rinaldi. Soriano.
Yes.
Milano.
Yes.
Del Garcia.
Yes. Okay. Next thing is applications for adjournment. Does anybody have any applications
I
for
gave you
adjournment?
one.
I know. Yes, come on up.
Diana McGovern from the law firm of Gassion Pomaco. We have two on the agenda for tonight. Number 3, ZB 23-11, Danny Verdugo. Our architect is not available for this evening. We are requesting that it be carried to the next meeting.
You waive the time restraints?
We do.
Okay, so application ZB 2023-11. Danny Verdugo, 35 Frederick Street, block 1401, lot 40. Applicant is proposing interior alterations to a single-family dwelling in order to convert it into a two-family dwelling with two two-bedroom and one-bathroom apartments, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone in the audience that's interested in this case, it will be carried to our next meeting, which is November 2nd, 2023. There'll be no further notices in the newspaper or by mail.
One more, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, which one more?
Again, Diana McGovern from the law firm of Gassion Pomaco for the record. The number 4 on your agenda, ZB 23-09. It's with respect to 270-272 Belleville Avenue. Our planner is unavailable tonight.
Okay, ZB 2023-09, 77 Mont Prospect Avenue, LLC. Well, that's the address of the corporation. I assume the property, though, is 270,
I'm sorry,
272.
272 Belleville Avenue.
Belleville Avenue,
Yes.
block 5901, lot 41. Applicant is seeking to convert an existing mixed-use 3 apartments and 1 ground floor commercial unit into a multi-family building with 4 apartments. So I assume, are you eliminating the commercial unit, or are you going to keep that also?
We'll have to see. I don't know at this point.
You have no idea?
I don't
Okay.
know.
Well,
I'm requesting the adjournment on behalf of Mr. Cascio.
there'll be
And we
no...
do waive our time limits.
Yes, you do. Okay, so there'll be no, anybody interested in that case, there'll be no further notices either in the newspaper or by mail. And that case is also adjourned to November 2nd, 2023.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, let's see what else we have here. Communications, I assume we have none. And resolutions, we have none. I have one more adjournment, hold on. And that is number 5 on the agenda. ZB 2023-07, 449, 451 Washington Avenue, LLC. That's also the location, 449, 451 Washington Avenue, Block 7906, Lot 5. The applicant is seeking to convert the first floor small office units into 2 small residential units. We received a letter dated September 20th, that was nice and early, directed to our secretary, Gina Ciccarelli. Relation to this, dear Ms. Ciccarelli, as I indicated, my client cannot attend a meeting until after October 10th. I am therefore requesting that the matter presently scheduled for the October board meeting be carried from the present date until the November monthly meeting. Kindly accept this letter as a formal request to adjourn the above captioned application with the Belleville Zone Board of Adjustment until the scheduled November 2023 meeting without need for further notice. I am waiving all applicable time periods on behalf of my client. Thank you. Please call me if you have any questions. Thank you, Donald Rinaldi, Esquire. Okay, so that case will also be adjourned to November 2nd, 2023, and there'll be no further notices either in the mail or in the newspapers. Yes, I am waiving all applicable time periods. Okay, so now, first case on the agenda, which has been on for a while. ZB 2023-03, 320 Cortlandt Street, Cortlandt Limited Liability Corporation, which is for 318 to 322 Cortlandt Street, Block 8803, lots 8 and 9. Applicant is proposing to demolish all 3 structures and convert a new 4-story building with 10 parking spaces on the ground floor and lobby entrance, and 12 no, this is wrong, this has been amended.
It was 12 parking spaces.
It's 12 parking spaces and only 8 apartments.
Right.
Of which 4 are supposed to be 2 bedrooms and 4 are supposed to be 1 bedrooms. So this is a typo on our agenda tonight. It's been changed. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Diana McGovern from the law firm of Gassion and Pomaco on behalf of the applicant, 320 Cortlandt Street LLC. We are back before the board with a significantly revised plan. The number of proposed units we now have has been decreased to 8, which are comprised of 4 2-bedroom units and 4 1-bedroom units. The overall height of the building has been reduced to 3 floors with an amenity space that's less than 25% of that roof area. We have provided 12 parking spaces, which is compliant with the required amount under code. And in addition, those parking spaces also have 1 van accessible ADA compliant parking space and 3 electric vehicle charging stations. We're here today with the project which will improve current drainage on the site and will provide a more aesthetically pleasing building for this very eclectic neighborhood. We're here for a D1 variance and bulk variances and a preliminary and final site plan approval. Because this is an RB zone which permits 1, 2, and 3 family homes, this is why we're here for a D1 variance. Tonight I have as witnesses Mr. Carantonis, the owner, John Halsey, the architect, and Mr. William Stimmel as our planner.
So technically, because there are 3 electrical units, then technically instead of have 12, well, for the record, it's really only 12, but really you're talking about 14.
Right,
The state gives you credit for up to 2 extras,
Correct.
correct?
Correct. So we
All right,
have
even though you can only fit 2 cars.
right. We'll take the credit where we can get it.
I know, but you're not using that credit. You're still having regularly 12 parking
We're
spaces.
going to have 12 physical parking spaces.
Thank you.
And if I could
Just want to
call
clarify that.
Mr. Carantonis. Would you? Can I just put this on? Diana, right? Diana, I-N-A-I-N, McGovern, M-C-G-O-V-E-R-N. Okay.
Mr. Carantonis, if you could raise your right hand, please. With regard to this application, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I
know you were sworn in June, but time has passed. If you could state your name for the record, spell your last name, please.
spelled Karantonis.
And your first name?
Peter.
Just kidding.
Okay.
Mr. Karantonis, could you give the board your business address, please?
323 Cortlandt Street in Belleville,
You work across the street from where the proposed project is?
right across the street.
Okay, and how long have you owned the properties at 318-322 Cortlandt Street?
It's over 20 years, approximately 25 years.
Okay, and could you describe for the board the current properties and the current uses for each of those properties?
So there are 2 one-family homes and 1 office to the right. The one family home is vacant, 1 is occupied, and the office is vacant.
How long have the properties been vacant?
The office has been vacant for a good 10 years, over 10 years. And the homes are the homes that we used to live in.
The office space, have you tried to rent that?
I have. It's a small office. It's hard to rent in that area. So it's been vacant.
What is the surrounding area comprised of?
It's a mixture of commercial, industrial, and residential. Across the street, it's all commercial warehouses. And on the other side, it's a mixture of businesses and residential.
And what are you proposing to do? What's your vision for this project?
So we're proposing to demolish the 3 units and put a small building with 8 apartments, parking garage underneath, an elevator. I believe it's going to be a nice improvement for the neighborhood.
Will there be any retail use in the building?
No, it's,
And are you planning on assigning parking spaces to each of the tenants?
yes, everyone will have a parking spot, an assigned parking spot.
In addition to the 12 parking spaces that exist on site, are there any on-street parking? Is there any on-street parking available?
Across the street, there is parking. On the side of the homes, during the day, there is not. It's only during night. Yeah, there's limited parking, but it's across the street.
Okay. Well, the parking lot itself, will there be any security provided there?
Yes, there will be cameras around the building. There will be lighting. We have staff that maintains our buildings, and they'll maintain that one as well.
Roll-up gate, I think you told me also?
A roll-up gate with one of those swipe cards that will access all the doors for entrance.
Okay, and how is refuse going to be taken care of at the site?
So there will be garbage cans, the ones with wheels, and once or twice a week they will be rolled out by our janitor.
And finally, what amenities are going to be provided with this project?
Well,
The upstairs space?
upstairs, yeah, so upstairs on the very top floor, everyone will have access to a space upstairs where they can barbecue or they can have, they can sit, and yeah, we'll have some, I'm not sure what we're gonna have, but it will be a nice recreation area where everyone can relax upstairs.
You're talking about the roof.
The roof, yes.
The roof amenity area. And finally, the exterior materials that will be used, will they be compliant with the code requirements for aesthetics in the?
Yes, I believe they're all, I don't know the names of the materials, but.
Well, we'll hear from the architect,
Yeah.
but that's your plan, is to use the good quality material?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Always.
I have no more questions. The board has any questions?
I have a question. Can you swear in our experts, please?
I can. Eric, Frank Lorenzo, with regard to this and the other application, do you swear the testimony you may give shall be the truth?
Yes, yes.
And for the record, or for the zoning officer, and the board planner/engineer.
I have a question, Mr. Di Lorenzo, because originally this was listed as a four-story building. Did this come down one floor to 3 stories? Because since you're using the roof, I don't know if the roof is considered a fourth story, that's why I asked the question.
No.
No, so it's calmed down to 3 stories from
It
4.
is.
It's open, so.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
No ceiling.
Just wanted to clarify that, because this was originally a 4-story building. Any questions by members of the board?
Yeah, this rooftop amenity that you got going on top of this structure, are there gonna be security measures in place to prevent somebody from like falling over and stuff like that?
Yes, of course. There will be some kind of a retaining wall all around that will, I'm not sure of the dimensions of the wall that's going to be all around, but it will be secure.
That would be great. And on heavy construction days, are you willing to have Belleville Police present at the site?
Yes, if that's necessary, we will comply with all requirements.
Okay, great. And will your project conform to all current Belleville standards of streetscapes and landscapes?
Yes, of course. It will comply with all standards of Belleville standards.
No problem.
Anybody else have any questions?
I do, Jeff.
Okay, Mr. Mafucci.
Will the janitor be living there or just go there on certain days?
No, he services 4 buildings that we have, and he will be available for that one as well.
And the garbage cans are on wheels. Will that be town pickup or private?
I'm not sure about that. If the town offers garbage disposal or not. Well, for the homes, it does offer. I know that because I used to live there. For the building, if it's not offered, then obviously we will have a garbage company pick it up.
And one other, you mentioned the garbage, you don't mention the recycling. Is that going to be up to the tenants to separate?
Well, the tenants normally are required to separate the garbage, and our people will remove it, take it out to the curb, and keep everything clean and up to date. Yeah, I believe the tenants will separate. The tenants are responsibility, I think. I'm not sure about
As long as
that.
they understand that is their responsibility when they move in.
Yeah.
I think our architect will testify if there's refuse chutes and recycling chutes, I think.
Oh, there are
that we-
chutes?
Yes, yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right, that's it.
Yeah, we're
Thank
getting
you.
ahead of ourselves, we should have the architect testify, because I would have some questions for him also.
He's next.
Any other questions of the applicant by the board? Any questions of the applicant by the public?
Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. Very quickly, I know it's already been said on the record that there are 8 apartments, 4 2-bedroom, 4 1-bedroom, 12 parking spots. Parking spots will be assigned, but I assume that the folks inhabiting the 2-bedroom units will get 2 parking spots? You just said
Well,
the parking was
that's
assigned,
a
but I
condition
assume...
for us to put up, and I'm sure we'll make that as a condition. Since the town ordinance is there has to be a parking space per bedroom.
Bedroom, right. Well, it was
So
said
that'll
on
be
the record-
part of our conditions.
Right. It was said on the record that the parking would be assigned, so I'm just...
Well, that's why they went down to 8 units from 12. And they went down from 8, actually, it was 12 units of 2 bedrooms, and now it's only 4 units with 2 bedrooms and 4 units with 1 bedroom, so it would comply with the amount of parking space.
And the other thing I just wanted to get on the record, parking will be included in the rent, it won't be separate fees.
We'll make that as a condition also.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? No. Want you have a question?
No, this one, question for Mr. Wagner. I never heard that you make a parking as a condition in the wet and camp.
Yes, you can. Because you know why? If you do it separately, people will not pay the extra, and then they'll want to park on the street, and they mess up the street. So you know what? We can make that as a condition, let them go to court then. I'm gonna put that as a condition, I'm telling you right
So
now.
you're a dictator.
Well, then I'm a dictator, what can I say?
Put it beside the right, but
He's good with, we're good with that.
we're good.
Okay. All right, and so, you may call your next witness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we would like to call the architect, John Halsey. You have to be sworn in, John.
Yep.
You have to, Mr. Riggle will swear you in.
Could you raise your right hand, please? With regard to this application, do you swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth?
Yes.
Could you state your name and spell your last name, please?
John Halsey, Halsey.
Why don't you briefly qualify?
Thank you.
We can move on.
Mr. Halsey, could you give the board your address and your occupation?
Yes, my business address here is 535 Parker Street, Newark.
And your occupation?
I'm a registered architect
Okay, and how long have you been practicing as an architect?
since 1985.
Could you give the board your educational background?
Yeah, I have a Bachelor of Architecture degree from City College of New York, 1980.
Are you licensed, are you a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey?
Yes,
Is your license in good standing?
yes it is.
Have you testified previously before planning and zoning boards as an expert?
Yes,
And were you accepted as an expert on each occasion?
yes.
I'd like to move to qualify Mr. Halsey as an expert in the field of architecture.
As long as his license is current, it's okay with me.
All right. Mr. Halsey, were you engaged to prepare the architectural plans for this site?
Yes,
Okay, and the last revised date on those plans, as I see it, is June 21, 2023?
yes,
Could you please describe for the board the site and the existing structures on this site?
sure. Try not to be repetitious. There
Excuse
are-
me, Mr. Halsey, if you refer to anything that we do not have, we'll have to mark it. But
Okay.
I think we have
I
these.
think you have everything.
These are the
but-
plans, we just held them up on a
But
board.
if there's anything new in color
Yeah.
that we don't have, just let us know.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm
and
just
as you speak to them, if you could just call
Yeah.
out the page number so the board
Sure.
can follow along.
Thank you.
Sure, yeah, the site plan from Formosa Engineering shows the existing, it's the existing site plan with the three structures on it, two houses,
What page is it?
a driveway,
Oh, what page?
alleyway, and an existing,
Sheet number 1 of 2.
yeah, Formosa Engineering. Sorry.
What is the dimension, because we'd be moving to consolidate the two parcels, what is the total
It's,
dimensions of the site?
okay, could be, exact, it's approximately 83 feet wide by 95 feet deep.
95 feet deep, all right, and take us, what exists there now would be demolished. What is the proposed plans? If you could take us through the proposed exterior of the proposed project.
Sure.
I am correct that I have a reverse subdivision here.
Yes, it's a reverse subdivision, we'd be looking to merge the lots.
Right.
Just want to get on the record.
Okay, so on,
Okay. Architectural sheet
this is
one.
sheet 1. Okay, you could describe the proposed exterior, the appearance, and the materials being used.
Yeah, okay. On this sheet, the middle drawing up on top is a rendering of the facade, the street, showing the three levels, and there's a cornice at the roof level. The first story will be clad with a cream-colored brick. There's glass at the lobby. There will be a glass garage door, and then these are openings into the garage. The residential floors will be clad in metal panels, which is the tan color panel, and then in addition to that, some smaller areas in a dark wood cladding, and that material will wrap around the side and the rear facade,
So the rear facade is the lower one,
the rear walls. This is the rear wall here.
and the parking will totally be in the rear, or will we park in the front?
The parking, some of the parking is not covered by the building, but, you know, most of it is.
It's all in the rear though.
Yeah, but it's all
That's
in
why
the
I'm
rear,
wondering.
there's
Yeah,
no,
no, it's all in the rear.
yeah,
It's all
it's
in the
only
rear.
accessible, you know, from the front through the garage.
Oh, it's accessible through the garage?
Yeah,
The garage door.
garage door,
Garage door,
right.
okay.
And that's, so there's really
So
no,
is there gonna be?
no
a
sign
gate
of
at
parking
Is
on
there
the
gonna be
street.
a gate at the garage door?
Yes, as Mr.
Yes.
Carantonis testified to, there'll be a gate with
Okay,
a swipe
so is
card.
there going, you're gonna have to swipe a card?
Yes,
So each tenant will have the card to swipe?
correct.
Okay.
Okay, would you go through, please, the building height, number of floors?
sure.
T2 is what this one is.
Okay, Mr. Halsey, if you could, what's the highest point of this building?
Okay, the maximum height is 40 feet to the top of the stair and elevator towers, and also the top of the enclosed amenity space on the roof level. So that's about 40 feet. The parapet protects the roof level all around, will be about 33 feet. The parapet is 3'6" high above the roof level, and that's a building code requirement.
The rooftop amenity, the size of the lounge, how many square feet is that?
Okay, the amenity space is 400, the enclosed amenity space is 414 square feet. And then there's also 192 square feet for the stair tower and the elevator tower.
What about the deck, that's outside of the
Okay,
lounge?
the deck is 404 square feet, I believe.
And that's unroofed, correct?
Right, that's open.
All right, now with respect to the first floor and the second floor, if you could just go briefly through the apartment floor plans?
Sure.
We'll go through what's on the first floor, the number of bedroom in each apartment.
Okay. Do you want to go through the ground level? Should we go through the ground
Sure,
level first?
start from the bottom and go up.
Okay. Okay, ground level, first floor plan. On the left of the drawing is the lobby and the elevator. And
This
the
is
stair tower.
page.
Sorry, we don't have a drawing on this. And then in the middle of the plan, you see the garage door accessing to all of the parking. On the right is the van accessible parking space, ADA. And back here, in the back, is the 3 EV parking spaces. Here is, on the other side of the building, is the other stair tower and a sprinkler equipment room. And in the back, we have the refuse storage area where the refuse cans are enclosed with a fence and a gate. And here's the compactor rooms at the ground level.
And that's where the chutes, the refuse chutes, the
Yeah, that's where
recycling,
the
and the
refuse
trash go
comes
down?
down, and it comes down into the compactor. The compactor wraps it up in bags, and it's stored there until the janitor comes to take it out
To the curb?
storage area in back.
Well, there's a storage area and then to the curb.
So the janitor will bring the bags out,
Yes,
I assume.
yes,
So
yes.
there's not gonna be a dumpster really
No.
that moves. right?
No, as we said before, the garbage cans will be in an enclosed space, not covered, just, with a fence around it. The garbage cans will be on wheels. The janitor will take them out to the street, either to the side of the building or through the
How wide
garage
is the
area.
garage door?
I'm sorry?
How wide is the garage?
18 feet.
So you'd be able to have a car, there's gonna be a line going in and a line going out, so if one's coming out while somebody's going in, they'll be able to go next to each
It's
other?
possible. I don't think with this number of,
Oh, 9 feet wide
yeah.
on each side technically,
Yeah.
yeah. It would be wide enough for
Yeah, it is,
cars
yeah,
to pass each other.
yes,
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay, so we can go up to the first floor.
Okay, the second floor, the first residential floor level, we see the two-bedroom units, 2 units facing the street, 2 units facing the back. Unit A, lower left plan, 887 square feet with 1 bathroom, and a open plan kitchen, living, dining area, and that's typical for all of the units. And then typically for each unit also is a room which has the washer and dryer and the water heater and the heating controls. And that occurs in each unit. Unit B has 2 bathrooms, 971 square feet, and the same features as the first unit. Unit D, 933 square feet, 2 bathrooms. Unit C, 979 square feet, 2 bathrooms. So that's the first
And then
residential floor.
the third floor, or the second, I guess the top
Third-
residential
Yeah,
floor.
the third floor, the top residential level is 4 one-bedroom units, 2 facing the street, 2 facing the back. Unit A, on the lower left of the plan, 887 square feet, with 1 bathroom and another open space for kitchen, living, and dining area, and the separate room for the washer and dryer and water heater and so forth, same as the other units. Unit B, on the right side of the plan, 971 square feet. Has the same features, except there's a pantry space by the kitchen for extra storage. Unit C, in the back, 979 square feet, 1 bathroom, same features as the other. Unit D, 906 square feet, 1 bathroom, and the same features as the other units.
Does the building have an elevator?
Yes,
And is that elevator ADA compliant?
yes,
Does it go all the way up to the rooftop amenity?
yes, it does.
So what about lighting? How is the exterior lighting going to be done in terms of, does it meet the code requirements?
Yes, it does.
And is there,
Was it designed to avoid spillage onto the neighboring property?
Yeah, no, there's no, there are no light poles that, reflect light over the property line. Let's take a look at the lighting plan, sheet 5. Here's the, this is the parking area, and it will have recessed LED fixtures throughout. Over the entrance is a wall light or lantern type wall light, decorative, and C has another wall light, but it's a down light to light the garage door opening. And then that's it.
Okay.
It's only four lighting types.
Currently, the lot coverage on the site is how much? Currently?
It is
100%?
It's one existing is 100%.
And what's the proposed lot coverage with you?
90%.
Okay. You've had the opportunity to review the comments by Mr. Harretts, the board engineer,
Yes.
in his report.
Yes.
And have you, do we have a landscape? Have we indicated the landscape on these plans?
Yes, in the front. We have some
And this is sheet
some
3.
shrubs. Yeah, sheet 3. In a landscape strip across the front, and 2 street trees at the curb.
Are we going to be adding a fence in the back around the entire perimeter of the rear?
Yes,
The composite fence that was suggested by the engineer?
yes.
Now, with respect to the renderings, as was requested by the engineer, have you provided all of the elevations for all sides of the building?
Yes.
If we could just show the board those.
Yeah, this is the drawing of elevations. Sorry, I don't have a drawing here for this one. It's the elevation
I
drawing.
don't think we have that.
Yeah, you don't have that, or you do?
I don't think we have that. Yeah, page?
Everybody's paying.
Yours is got colorized, or it says.
Okay,
Why don't we mark that A1 since it's colored?
okay.
Colorized. And this is, what can we call this?
Elevations.
Elevation.
Yeah, elevations of each, two-dimensional elevations
Mr. Ringler, do you
of
want me to
each
mark
wall.
it?
Please. Yeah, A1 elevation.
Since on the last page, you're down, do you say on the last page?
That's it.
It's not colored.
Yeah, so it's-
Got it. All right. So we have the renderings, I think,
Wait a minute.
It's different than ours.
Yes,
It's different than ours.
yes, it is. You are right.
It's not, I don't,
That's why I thought it was wrong because of the color, but now I'm looking at the shape. And once you
Yeah,
send
shape
it,
is different, because I'm looking at it from here.
This is
The
our
difference
recommendation.
should be the
Color?
color.
No, but it looks different than
Yeah, I can see the
oh, look behind.
drawing arrangement is
Go
different,
more
but
people behind.
There's no more.
this is what,
No, there is.
this is what the board has.
yeah,
It's a different scale.
yeah.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
different- okay,
different,
it's-
it's a different
explain that,
scale,
Mr.
it's a
Hall.
different, each wall is rearranged differently.
A1 is what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, but it's the same inclination. I apologize for the
We can use this that the board has.
the
just-
lack of
I'll
coordination.
show you that. It's different.
This is what the board has. This is blown up, it looks like, on the top, but we'll use the one that the board has.
Okay.
Which, this is the elevation drawing for the project as it's been revised down to the 8 units, correct?
Yes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I just have a question. So now we're looking at this one, what about the one behind it, so we're not going by that?
Yeah, but it's the same information, it's the
Just
same,
different-
it's the same drawings.
But it's being
They're
depicted
just
differently.
rearranged differently.
That's why I'm,
It's being depicted differently in the other drawing. This drawing here is being depicted from what we have. It's the same, like you said, same information, but the other drawing depicts it differently than this one does. We're gonna testify on this one.
This one.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we're going to submit this as the elevations, which you have in your packages. So Mr. Halsey testified to this one, which is what the board has.
Okay,
This is the elevations, correct?
yes.
Okay. All right, so if you would just point out front elevation, rear elevation, and right and left sides, the board is clear.
Okay, on the upper left corner of the drawing is the front elevation, showing the facade materials that I mentioned earlier, the metal panels, which are the predominant material. The dark area is the wood siding, and then the ground level, the brick cladding. The side elevation, left side elevation is, has the clapboard siding, the wood siding up above, and the brick on the, below. The other side elevation, the same thing, the wood siding and the brick first floor structure. The rear elevation on the lower right-hand corner of the drawing shows the windows of the dwelling units. And that's, again, all the wood siding. The third level units have French balconies over in front of sliding glass doors.
Now, we provided the width of the entrance of the garage door on the plans, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and the vehicle circulation plans, if you could turn to that, just state, shows the board the illustration of the vehicle circulation.
Now, the third floor, each unit's gonna have a sliding balcony? In other words, there's gonna be sliding balconies in the front and the rear of the building?
Yes.
Because I don't remember seeing these sliding balconies on the picture in the front of the building.
They're only on the third floor.
Only on the third floor?
Yeah, right.
All right,
Second floor is
we'll see that.
too low for that feature.
Well, I mean, on the back, I'm not seeing it. Or maybe they are.
Yeah, they're on the back.
Point, if you could point out to the chair, we haven't blown up that front
They're
elevation.
French balconies.
Yeah,
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 They're not really balconies where you sit outside.
No, French balcony is a narrow.
Yeah, like it's like
No, but it doesn't
a
even have
foot.
it doesn't even have a floor. It's
Yeah.
really, but it's a nice feature to have. It gives, protects, you can have a sliding glass door down to the floor, and then the railing in front of it protects, the
So
height.
nobody fall.
Right.
Question I have, and I don't know if you want to continue, but the question I have, on the original plans, not the original plans, on the plans you're showing, you said some of the parking spaces are going to be in the garage itself.
under the
Underneath.
building.
Covered,
Inside.
they're not,
I
yeah,
assume those are the electrical ones, because of the electrical outlets?
We
the,
have the same question.
EV, not entirely.
But I would like to hear
One
from
of
you.
one of the
Which one
EV
will-
spaces
Let him go through the numbers.
is covered by the building above, and two are not.
Okay, the other question on the picture you showed, you said there's gonna be a fence in the back.
Right.
But the picture I seen with the parking area, I see grass, but I don't see no fence.
Yeah, it's a, that's a.
No, pull it down, pull the thing down.
Oh, I see the
So we can
picture.
see
On
the
the
picture.
plan, it says
Yes, the
composite fence.
rendering, yeah, no, that's a,
There's a fence on the side, but no fence in the back.
yeah, no, that's a coordination,
Now, is there gonna be a fence in the back so nobody can get in there?
And what, I left out the fence so you can see the cars more clearly.
I understand that, but I'm saying, is that gonna really be a fence going all the way around?
Yes,
So nobody can get in there
right.
for security reasons?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's on the plan. It's on the plan, it's not on the.
Not in the picture.
It's just
Right.
not
It's
in
not on the
the
rendering.
in the rendering.
I just asked because of the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, where were we?
Oh, the vehicle circulation plan.
Before you go there,
Sure.
if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr. Milano.
Going back to the drawing that reflects the 12 parking spots, you know, just for clarification, can you give me two things? I need one, which numbers are indoors, and two, which numbers are EV stations.
Okay.
That's all.
If you look at, where is the plan with the,
We are on sheet 9. We are on sheet 9.
okay, well, sheet 3 has the EV.
Sheet 9. Which ones are covered, which ones are not covered, and which ones are EVs?
Start with the handicap space, the ADA space, and go to the back and call out which is undercover and what they are.
Okay, well,
Just give me
let's,
the numbers.
here, let me show you there's a line here, maybe it's not all that clear.
That's what I'm trying to say.
There's a hidden line here,
Yeah.
that's the building
So,
above.
if you could just shut out for me, which
So
ones
the
are
building
covered?
above is this much,
Okay, so,
and then,
can
and
you shut out for me?
John,
there's,
just go each spot and say whether it's undercover or not.
That's it.
there's four spaces, let me put it this way, there's 4 spaces in the back that are.
Okay,
that are
listen
not
to the question,
one,
please.
two.
Question is,
Number 1 is the ADA space, right?
Right,
And that's undercover.
yeah,
What's number 2?
that's covered,
What's number 3?
covered,
What's number 4?
covered,
Is that an EV space?
yes,
Okay. Number, what are we up to, 4? 5?
yeah.
5.
Yeah,
What's
EV.
number 5? Is that
EV
outside?
Yeah, EV space,
And it's-
uncovered,
And that's an uncovered EV space. And number
Right.
6?
uncovered.
Uncovered. Going across to the space across from number 6. So we'll do that number 7. Number 7, that's open space.
Right, uncovered,
Number 2,
uncovered,
number 3,
covered,
number 4,
covered,
5,
covered,
6.
covered.
Okay.
Based upon your testimony
what
just now,
about 9 and 10?
9 and 10 on the left side here,
Yeah, those are covered,
covered. And number 9 on the diagram, that's an EV space, correct?
right,
so you're saying there's some EVs that are not covered?
Yes.
right.
They don't have to be covered. They're on the streets all the time. They're on the streets, you can get them in malls and everything else.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
You're welcome.
It makes it easier.
Yes, thank you for, appreciate that. Okay, let's talk about how the vehicles get in and out the circulation pattern, just to demonstrate that. Sorry? Yeah, the circulation, just to show the
Majority.
path in and out. Okay, there you go. All right.
The
So
majority.
we've included on sheet 8 and on sheet 9, I believe, gives you, right, so those are provided in the plans, correct, Mr. Halsey?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. That ADA spot, is that van accessible that we provided?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And the drainage plan, we provided that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about drainage. Will this plan improve the current situation of drainage in the area?
Yes,
I should have actually asked Mr. Karantonis, is there a flooding problem on this street, as you know it?
yes.
Okay, and with this plan, how is the rainwater and water captured?
We're gonna have a detention space, a seepage pit towards the back of the lot that will handle all of the runoff. So there will not be, we will not have any runoff going onto the sidewalk or any adjacent property.
So will that improve the current drainage
Yes.
problems in the area?
Yes.
I think the board probably has some questions for you.
Yes, Mr. Milano, you have any further questions? Mr. Milano, you have any further questions? I'll let
The flood maps, you guys, you got that information from what? You know that for certain that there's a flood area? I mean, you verified that with FEMA?
No, but we have, I can have, bring Mr. Karantonis back. He's owned the property for 20 years, he's lived there, and he also owns the building across the street. So
So
you can
that
describe,
information is accurate, that area is a flood area.
Mr. Karantonis?
There are, yes, every year we have at least three floods, yeah.
So there is providence behind that, so if I now, if I go to FEMA.org and I type in the address, it's just gonna come up in the flood area.
Yes, you will find that.
What was that, Mr.
I
Harris?
don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's not a
because-
flood area, but he has a problem with water, is the issue.
All right, so, yeah, but my only issue was that you guys were saying that was a flood area, that it does get
Oh, all
flooded.
right,
Hurricane.
That, I know.
it's a term of art, and I apologize, you're right. It gets water and puddles and,
All right, well, I just looked at the FEMA maps and it was showing us a
no,
flood
no,
area.
my mistake, that's
All
my
right.
mistake.
Sir, Mr. Architect, sorry, what's your name, sir?
John,
John, okay. What type of material is the flooring on the roof, sir?
on the roof,
Yes.
it'll be the general roof area will be a single ply membrane, fully adhered to
That's a rubber man.
the substrate.
So it
And
is-
it'll have a slope of 1/4 inch per foot minimum to roof cranes.
Yeah, so is it safe to assume in this area, is that slip resistant material?
Is it
A slip
Slip resistant.
resistant material?
slip resistant?
Yes.
Yes.
And from your knowledge, does any building in Belleville have a rooftop access amenity like that?
Oh, I'm not, okay, I'm sorry, there's two, I was just speaking to the general roof area. Okay, the amenity roof deck will be different.
Okay, what material would that be?
That will be a raised wood deck panel system.
Like
on,
wood, like actual wood or PVX?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, a raised panel, a raised wood panel on, what do you call them? Pedestals.
All right, and Mr. Sherman, you said that you know of another building in Belleville that has this type of amenities?
Well, it has a roof, and it's the one we approved about 4 years ago
Yeah,
on Franklin Avenue on the Nutley line.
yeah.
There's one in Belmont.
There's one right there.
Oh, well, we didn't approve that, no. And I've never been up there.
I'm sure
You're talking about right next door to the restaurant.
I'm sure there's,
Yeah.
many other buildings.
But I believe that has a roof line.
So just, Ms. Counselor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, so just, this is probably a question for, I'm sorry, Mr. Regular, did I say that? Mr. Regular?
You were fine.
Ms. Counselor, right? Counselor? Did I say that correctly?
She's good to go.
You got it.
Oh,
So maybe this is a question, so maybe this is a question perhaps for your client. I know you got security system in play for the parking, so you got egress with a fob key, right? So people fog their ways in to go in and out with an access card, is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Or Mrs. Counselor?
Yes, that's what he testified to,
All right,
yes.
good. Now, are there gonna be any other security systems in play, like CCTV? Are you gonna have that? You're gonna have cameras on this building?
Yeah, we're gonna have cameras around the building
Okay,
with
great.
recording device.
All right, great.
Yeah, that's gonna be accessible. Well, these days, those things are accessible to all the tenants on their smartphones.
I would be remiss if I didn't voice my concerns for a building that, I mean, it's a beautiful building, don't get me wrong, I love the plant, but my only issue is this whole rooftop amenity. I have children, so, I envision one jumping off, like,
Well-
how do I, what can you tell me to put me at ease about that factor right there, please?
Well, there will be a railing all around the outside deck area,
Okay,
and that will be 3 foot, 3 foot minimum. I'm kind of hesitant to make it much higher. We don't want it to look like
So they're
a,
not gonna have
prison
access to the
courtyard,
complete
but,
roof, am I correct?
pardon me?
They're not gonna have access to the complete roof
No,
over that small
no.
area?
No,
Okay,
even
so
if they
once-
did, if somebody did jump over the railing, there's
One suggestion.
another parapet all the way
Now,
around.
you said the parapet is gonna be a little over 3 feet high, didn't I, you say that before?
Yes, yes.
So are you gonna put any railing on top of the parapet?
No, except at the front, we have, at the front facade, we have a cornice, a floating cornice, which is
So correct me, so right now I'm looking at that rendering right there, that top portion right there with that white rim, that's glass there? Is that what I'm
No,
looking at?
it's open,
Okay.
but this is the parapet level here, okay? 3'6" above the roof.
So if the board prefers, I just spoke with my client, as this extra security measure, there could be a swipe card used for the elevator to get access to the amenity that can be kept from a child. If, as a parent, you would just have to, keep control of that.
So, Ms. Counselor, would this area be used for events and parties?
I think it's supposed to be a common area for all of the tenants if they want to go out and grill. I think that the concept was having an open area like a community room. In terms of conditions, if you want them to restrict numbers of people, they can do that.
What's the capacity?
What is the?
Yeah, what is the capacity? I mean, that's a good question. Like, what can they hold an event up there? Is that even possible?
The occupancy?
Yeah, I mean, let's say if I wanted to throw a birthday party for my son up there, like the whole family, can I do that up there?
Yeah, you could have about 10 people.
Oh, that's it?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Good.
Do you have any problem with putting a sign up there that says that children cannot be left up there unattended?
Yes. Sure, we can put signs, of course.
Yeah, I would put that up.
But I'm
Because
sure
you never
we're
know
gonna-
when somebody thinks, well, I can let the kids play up there, it's
Yeah.
safe, it's got a little fence. You never know, kids know how to get out of
Yeah,
things.
but I think we're gonna put a nice wall, at least 5 feet tall, that's going to
They have-
prevent.
I have a question.
like that.
Frank, would the fire department have to get involved to let us know the capacity of people, or the amount of people who have to be up there?
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
My department does that.
When it comes in, we make them tell how many
And
go out.
they'll follow, of course, any conditions set by them.
Thanks, Frank.
I've been to the rooftop deck on 558 Franklin Ave.
It's all right.
It's beautiful, and the wall is high, I mean, nobody's going over that wall.
No, nobody.
And the rooms are set back from the edge of the roof. They're nowhere near the edge of the roof, so even if you jump over the wall they have, you're not
Well,
going
according
into
to
the
this, it's not near the edge of the roof
Right.
either. Yeah, and I don't know, you're gonna have a barbecue up there, I assume?
Yeah.
Because that's what they have at the other.
They have one in 558.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Very similar.
Are we done with the roof? I have a question.
Yes, you can ask any question you want.
Mine's on the ground.
You wanna wait?
Oh, no, mine's on the ground. Parking, the parking that's outside, right? So, only because I went in this, the outside parking, when it comes time to do snow removal, how is that being accomplished?
Okay, we thought about that. Can we
Well,
call Mr. Karen
there are
Thomas
small
up?
machines that we use for the sidewalks,
I agree.
and I guess
So-
we could use small machines, of course, and there's a lot of,
No
If I
problem.
may have him come up,
Yep, Mr. Karen Thomas?
Come back up.
and I'm sure you know from your experience,
yes, of course.
my concern is, and I've done a lot of this type of work, you can't push snow anyway. So you're gonna have to remove snow.
Right,
And you're
during,
prepared to remove snow.
yes, we have our own people and we do
You
hire.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
I'm
we do
trying to
hire
be
a
different.
company when
But
there's ice and it gets
when
even
you
worse
have
than
a
that.
limited closed-in spot, places, right? You can't, I look at this, there's no extra space to push the snow.
No, it has to be removed. yeah,
Okay,
in
no,
the back.
we're all on the same plate.
Yes.
You understand my point?
Yes.
Definitely.
In all due respect, I've been down this road, and I had to pay big money to remove it, and it's fiscally very expensive. But he has his own crew, maybe it's working for him. But just wanted him to know, that in this kind of environment, and you have no option, but you have to remove the snow.
We're fully aware of that.
Okay, that's, as long as it's not a record, that's all I do. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
On the French balconies, like, I understand it's a sliding door, it's not an actual balcony, but let's say mom's in the bathroom and the baby just starts crawling, like, can they crawl off of it? Because it kind of looks like a fence, like, can they get through? I mean, just like, how are they gonna do
No,
that?
okay, the railing, let's look at this again. see here will meet the building code requirement, which does not allow any more than
You can't get.
4 inches clear
I think it's
between the
a question.
balusters.
You can't get to a child's head.
Right.
And there is
Cannot get
a,
child's head.
Yeah.
there is a, you know,
That's,
a very slender piece of floor, but that will have a, like a steel grate and also,
I think what she's
Protected,
asking,
so-
like on decks, where you can't get a child's head through the railing,
no,
that's
No.
the question.
If you have children, you know, they've all tried to do that.
Right, yeah, that's why I put it out.
Okay, I have no more questions for Mr. Halsey. I don't know whether the board has any.
Any more questions by members of the board? Ladies and gentlemen, none?
Thank you, John.
Unless our experts have some follow-up questions.
Mr. Harretts or Mr. Di Lorenzo, you have any questions?
No problem.
Any member of the public? Mr. Shelton, come right up.
Good evening again, Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. Beginning of the architect's testimony, he mentioned that the merged 3 lots have a nominal dimension of 83 feet by 95 feet, if I heard you correctly. So that's about just under 8,000 square feet altogether with the 3 lots merged. What is the footprint area of the building itself?
it is, okay, it's 76 feet wide. The street is 76 feet wide and 68 feet deep.
I think earlier you said that the total lot coverage is about 90%.
Yes.
Which would be about 7,000 square feet.
Yeah,
All right,
yes.
okay. Just making sure the numbers
Yeah,
are
yeah.
all consistent. The other question I had at this stage, 2 other things. Utilities, both gas and electric for the units, or is it just electric?
Gas and electric.
Gas and electric, okay, all right. The chairman might want to say something while I'm asking if their utilities are both gas and electric.
No, I'm satisfied
All
with
right,
that.
all right. We have a building here just south of the town hall where apparently they didn't put any gas utilities, it's all
Yeah.
electric, and now they realize that they don't have
Yeah.
the capacity
Yeah,
to
well,
power the
yeah,
building.
well, at this point in time, it's all, it's gas and electric. I'm aware of the, move toward eliminating gas, but that's not the case here.
Okay. And the last thing is laundry services. Are the apartment units capable of doing their own laundry, their internal
Yes,
washers, dryers?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
all right. And in the bottom, is there any storage for the residents, or is it just a lobby?
No, there's no individual storage
Okay.
units.
All right, that's it for now, thank you. Thank you.
My question on the second and third floor. From your plans, I'm seeing that all the units on the second floor are 2 bedrooms, and all the units on the third floor are 1 bedroom?
Yes,
Am I correct?
yes.
So technically, on the third floor, there's more living area and less bedroom space. So you're eliminating a bedroom, and I believe you have 2 bathrooms on each of the 2 bedrooms?
Yes, well, one of them has one bath.
In other words, like a bath and a half?
Just
One
one
and a half?
bathroom.
One's a bath?
One of the 2-bedroom units has 1 bathroom, 3 of them have 2 bathrooms.
3 of them have 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so technically, there would be also 1 bathroom eliminated from 3 units on the third floor, correct? They would only have 1 bathroom each?
Well, they're 1-bedroom units, so they each
Only
get
have one bedroom.
one bathroom.
So there's a lot of extra living space on the third.
Well, that is a result of reducing the number of units, but we did not choose to reduce the size of the building or put a setback in it or whatever.
I'm surprised you didn't have, like half the 2 bedrooms on the second floor and half the 2 bedrooms on the third to give the 2 bedrooms more living space, that's all I'm saying. But you got tremendous amount of living space on the third floor for the 1 bedroom.
Yeah, well, that, like I'm trying to say, it's just that's a result of, we kept the same building area on the third floor. And
Just
just
eliminate
do it in
the
the living
walls.
area. Yeah, we didn't feel it would be an advantage to anyone to reduce and have a setback on the third floor, for example, and just to reduce the living area. So, you know, the one-bedroom units, you know, it's an advantage, it's a big marketing advantage, you know, they're
Gigantic units for one bedroom, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
500 square feet for one bedroom.
That's
Yeah.
not that big.
Yeah, they are, I'm aware of that, they're oversized, and, you know, we discussed it, and we decided to leave the floor plate, you know, the same as the second floor, it's just,
Are the bedrooms bigger on the third floor?
no, the
bedrooms are the same
bedrooms are about the
size as the
same,
second
yeah.
floor?
So it all goes into the living space,
Yeah, there's much more living space on the
Yeah.
one bedroom, yeah.
yeah. But we feel that that will be very appealing to the market.
Yes,
What do you have in the building for fire protection?
Whatever the, you know, building code requires, we'll have, you know, standpipe,
Sprinklers?
standpipe in the stair towers.
Will it be
Second
sprinkled?
floor, third floor levels will be sprinkled.
Okay.
Actually, the first, I think we're required to sprinkle the first floor parking area.
Okay.
But generally, it's all protected space.
yes, Mr. Mafucci.
One question, the grill on the roof, gas powered or you supply your own brick or wood?
For the grill, you mean? For the grill? Is that
The
what
grill.
you're- Oh. I don't
I
know.
think it's easier just to provide one of those gas cans.
Propane?
Propane tanks, yeah.
Okay, because I was concerned with embers
Oh.
from the other. That's good, thank you.
Any other questions from members of the board?
Okay, thank you.
You may call your next witness.
Thank you. We would like to call William Stimmel, our engineer. Planner, I'm sorry, planner. I'm looking at your PE, because you are planner.
Raise your right hand. With regard to this application, do you swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth?
I do.
State your name and spell your last name.
William Stimmel, S-T-I-M-M-E-L.
I know you've appeared before this board several times as a planner. Is your license still in effect?
Yes, it is.
Okay, no problem.
Do you want me to take him through his credentials, or are we accepting him as
No,
a
he's been
Okay,
there.
great,
He's been there before.
perfect. Mr. Stimmel, do you have the opportunity to travel to the site?
I did.
And are you familiar with the architectural and engineering plans for the proposed site?
Yes, I am.
All right, like, would you describe to the board the current site and then go into what is proposed?
Sure. Just very briefly, the existing conditions on the subject property. The property consists of two lots. Lot 8, which is number 318 and 320 Cortlandt Street, which has an area of 5,300 square feet. And Lot 9, number 322 Cortlandt, which has an area of 2,400 square feet. The existing development on the property consists of one commercial building with two tenant spaces. It's number 318. A single-family dwelling at number 320, and another single-family dwelling at number 322. Per testimony from the client at the last hearing, the commercial use of number 318 is long-standing. The site as it exists now is almost entirely covered with buildings and pavement. I think the number provided by Mr. Halsey was actually 100% coverage. There is fencing around the perimeter of the property, but the fencing is in disrepair. If you go to the site now, there's one access drive between number 318 and 320, which leads to a common paved area at the rear of the property. There's no access directly, there's no curb cut in front of number 322. There's no drainage on the property, and there's limited lighting, which is typical for single-family residential development.
Okay, what's the zoning for this site?
I was gonna do,
Oh, go ahead, continue, I'm sorry.
The proposed conditions are the applicant proposes to demolish all the existing structures on the property, construct a new 3-story building with 1 floor of parking and common space, and 2 floors of apartments above, and then that rooftop amenity area. Previously, it had been a 4-story building. Now we're proposing 8 residential units, 4 1s and 4 2-bedrooms, whereas previously it had been 12 residential units, all 2 bedrooms. There's 12 parking spaces at ground level, primarily underneath the building. The last 2 parking spaces on either side of the aisle are exposed to the sky. Lighting improvements, landscaping improvements, a reduction in impervious coverage from 100% to 90%, and stormwater improvements, which Mr. Halsey went through a moment ago.
If you could describe what is the zoning for this site and what's permitted there?
Sure, the site is located in the RB zone. The permitted principal uses on the property, and this is from ordinance section 23-7.5A, are single-family dwellings, 1 per lot, 2-family dwellings, 1 per lot, and 3-family dwellings, 1 per lot, as well as duplexes and schools. So the existing single-family dwellings are permitted uses on the subject property. The existing commercial use is not permitted, and the provision of multiple principal uses on Lot 8 is also non-conforming per ordinance section 23-7.1J.
Does the zone where this site is located have mainly conforming structures?
It's certainly a mix of structures in the zone. There are a number of commercial properties on our side of the street. From my site visit, I noted that number 318 has 2 commercial tenants, number 338 is an office. There's predominantly 2-family dwellings on our side of Cortlandt Street, but you also have the garden apartments which front on Stevens, and the parking lot extends out to Cortlandt in the rear, so that's on our side of the street as well. So it's a mix.
Okay, does the master plan make any reference to this area or proposed type of project?
The master plan speaks generally about the need for a variety of housing types at a range of sale and rental levels. The 2019 reexamination talks about encouraging the rehabilitation of existing housing stock, especially for low and moderate income households. Obviously, we're proposing new housing at this location. The 2019 reexam also talks about ensuring opportunities for rehab and reconstruction of older housing. It talks about the need to enhance community appearance and the visual environment by encouraging good design for new and rehabilitated buildings through the proper planning of streets. And it says that the Planning and Zoning Board should ensure that the design of such projects is compatible with existing buildings. So Mr. Halsey went through the aesthetics of the building, how the building is laid out, why the exterior treatments are what they are, and I think aesthetics being subjective though they are, I think the board would agree that what the applicant is proposing is a visual upgrade over what's on the property now.
Take us through the variances for this application, please.
Sure, there is the main reason we're here in front of the zoning board, of course, is that we're requesting a D1 variance for a use which is not permitted in the zone. The zone where the site is located primarily permits 1, 2, and 3-family dwellings. So in order to justify the requested variance relief, the applicant has to satisfy the positive and negative criteria. The positive criteria require a demonstration that the site is particularly suited for the proposed development and that it advances the purposes of zoning. So the site suitability aspect of it, the first part of that is that the lot is large compared to the requirements of the zone. You are eliminating 2 D variances associated with the existing development on the property. The first is for the commercial use in the residential zone. The second is for the multiple principal uses on one of the lots. Also, the site is across the street from the industrial zone and adjacent to the garden apartment. So the zoning in the area and on that section of Cortlandt is certainly mixed in nature. As far as the purposes of zoning, the first purpose I'm going to cite, and the one that's most commonly cited in these types of applications, is purpose A, to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of all lands in the state in a manner which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. So we have the construction of new housing units, the promotion of the goals of the 2009 2019 reexamination, as well as the advancement of the goals of the State Development and Redevelopment Plan, which contemplates this type of higher intensity residential development primarily in the metropolitan area of the state, which is where Belleville and the site in particular are located. Purpose I, to promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangement. We are rehabilitating the site, making significant aesthetic improvements to the property, and providing landscaping and lighting improvements. In addition, the parking lot for the multifamily structure will be fairly well screened from the motorists and pedestrians on Portland, as well as the people out the back on Stevens. And then finally, purpose J, which is to promote the conservation of historic sites and districts, open space, energy resources, and valuable natural resources in the state, and to prevent urban sprawl and degradation of the environment through improper use of land. So allowing this type of more dense residential development in an area which is already fully developed reduces some of the pressure to extend the urban sprawl into undeveloped portions of the state.
Is the negative criteria also satisfied, and if so, please explain.
Sure. The negative criteria with this application and with essentially all applications requires a demonstration that the variance can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance. So first, based on my review of the application, I believe the overall project would be a net positive to the area. There's no substantial detriment to the public good. I know one of the main concerns when the residents were here the last time related to the parking. By reducing the number of units and reducing the concentration of the two-bedroom dwelling units, it reduces the parking demand for the project, so the parking requirement is provided on site. The building height complies with the requirement of the zone. It provides some amenity space for the residents. And again, I think it's a net positive. As far as the master plan and the zoning ordinance, I had already gone through the purposes of the master plan and master plan re-exam, which are advanced by the project. And then finally, because it's a D1 variance for a use which is not permitted in the zone, the applicant has to demonstrate an enhanced quality of proof. We have the elimination of the non-conforming uses, the non-conforming use and the multiple principal uses, again, the master plan goals and the state redevelopment plan. I think I would also add that this type of development is something we seem to be seeing a lot of in Belleville, not just in this area, but on Washington Avenue and other locations. And I think it's an encouraging sign overall that some of the goals of the master plan and the re-exam are being advanced through these projects.
Could you describe the C variances and the reasons justifying the relief?
Sure. I'm going to refer to Mr. Harris's letter dated July 17th, 2023. Before I do that, I just point out to the board, as I'm sure you all know, that because of the fact that we have the D variance here, what you're really looking at is the overall application. So the C variances are subsumed in a consideration of the use variance because it wouldn't be strictly appropriate to apply the requirements of the site to this zone because the use is not permitted in the zone, nor would it be strictly appropriate to refer to another zone where this type of use would be permitted because we're not located in that zone. So with that in mind, Mr. Harris's letter on page 2 of 4 notes that the minimum lot depth 100 feet is required, 96 feet is existing and proposed. That's an existing nonconformity, which is not being impacted by the proposed development. Minimum front yard setback where 20 feet is required, 5 feet is proposed. We do meet the existing and prevailing setbacks, which are 2 feet, 3 feet, and 3 feet for the three buildings that are currently located on the subject property. Minimum side yard where 5 feet is required, 3 feet is proposed. Again, the existing side yard setbacks to the exterior of the property are deficient. You have 1 foot to the left, 2.5 feet to the right. Minimum rear yard where 20 feet is required, 5 feet is proposed, but that's measured to the parking. The parking is going to be screened by that fence which runs around the back of the property. It's 22.75 feet to the building, so it does comply for the building setback. The maximum lot coverage, 75% is permitted, 90% is proposed, Again, that's a reduction from the existing 100% coverage. The number of stories, where 3 stories are permitted. Mr. Harris indicates 4 in the review letter. I'm not sure if that's a holdover from the prior taller building which we had proposed, but the ordinance does make an allowance for a smaller penthouse rooftop area, and we believe that because of the limited square footage of the 4th floor height of the building, that small area of the building that reaches that 4th floor, that it does qualify for that exemption. And then finally, the open space where 25% is required, 10% is proposed. And again, I think that's offset to some extent by the provision of the rooftop amenity space. So those are the C variances and waivers associated with the application. We did, under the previous application, have a height variance, which has since been eliminated. That was the D6 variance.
If this variance is granted, do you think the proposed use would impair the intent and purpose of the zoning plan?
I do not, no.
And why is that?
Again, the purposes of zoning in Belleville generally mirror the purposes of municipal land use law, so those MLUL goals which are advanced, I believe, would apply to the zoning as well.
If granted, would the proposed projects have any detrimental effect on the subject property or the surrounding areas?
No, from the material submitted, my review of the area and the testimony provided by the applicant and the architect, as well as the well-considered modifications to the plan that have been previously made based on comments from the board and the public and the stipulations made at the hearing tonight, I continue to believe this is an improvement over what's on the property now.
In your professional opinion, is the proposed use an appropriate use of the property?
It is, yes.
Would you like to sum up your conclusions, or do you think you...
I think I've
You've covered it
hit
all.
it enough times.
The board may have
Board to
questions for you.
sleep.
Any questions by members of the board?
Yeah, just
Mr. Valado?
one question, Mr. Harris. Do you agree with the observation from the planner regarding your comment on the rooftop?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all.
Any other members of the board have a question of the plan? Okay, then, any members of the public have a question of the plan? Minister Shelton.
Good evening again, Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. During Mr. Stimmel's recitation of the positive criteria, he said that there are landscape improvements being made with this project, but with the building occupying 90% of the lot, it's only 10%. I didn't hear any, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't hear any discussion earlier tonight about actual landscape improvements, trees, bushes, etc.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
I must have zoned out.
And it's really for the front of the building, not
Just
the
up
back.
front, could you just quickly go over again, what are those landscape improvements?
That would have to go to the...
Maybe the architect could
Like somehow
talk
missed
about
that part.
front landscaping.
In the front.
Okay, the landscaping improvements are limited to mainly the front of the building. So we'll have 2 new street trees, and then along the space between the sidewalk and the front of the building is for all planting area. Okay, around the sides, there is, or on the 2 sides here, there is a mulched area.
The trees on the street side, are those going to be planted on the median where that property actually belongs to the town?
Yeah, they'll meet the, local requirements for tree pits and type of trees.
So those will actually, those trees technically will belong to the town, not to the applicant?
Right, but we're required to, install them according to the...
And do you have any idea what type of trees you're going to be planting?
I'm not sure.
I hope not cherry trees.
We have, it's probably, I think, a London plane tree, which is...
Those trees
streetscape is a lot.
Mike, the streetscape,
There's a lot of
pulls out the
towns.
plans by zone, the trees. I think it's a red bud something or,
Maple.
I forget the,
Here in Redwood.
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Right. Not that I have anything against cherry trees, it's just that where cherry trees have been planted elsewhere in residential areas, they cause lots of problems with the shooters and the low branches and everything else, so as long as it's not cherry. Thank you.
Well, the London plane tree is a very good hardy
It's
tree
not gonna
for
be a
this
London plane
type
tree,
of
okay?
space.
It's going to be whatever the town
We'll
wants us to
give you a
plant.
streetscaping plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question more of the architect since he's up? Okay, the EV parking spaces, do you put the cable between two parking spaces? Because there is a cable that goes with the plug-in,
Yeah.
and if it's put in the middle of two parking spaces, can it not be utilized for two different cars? One at a time, of course.
Most of the charges I see do have two cables, they
Have
do
two
two
cables.
cars at once, yeah.
And it's usually put in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so that's why it gives credit for 6 spaces, because there really is only 6 spaces, but each one could cover 2 cars.
Okay. We'll take the credit.
Yeah, I mean, and part of that we would want, I would put it as a condition, we already put it on another application, that the parking spaces should be numbered, striped and numbered, and the people who rent the apartments who have electric cars should get the priority for those parking spaces. And if you put it in the middle, you got 6.
Yep.
Because they want to, according to the governor, that is,
Yeah.
by 2035, we can't buy a gas car in New Jersey anymore.
Keep in mind.
So I think it's good to put it in the middle, because that way you can cover up to 6 parking spaces of the 12. That's not bad, it's half.
We'll take that. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome a few years.
I think we can see. I don't know whether the board.
Yes.
Oh,
sum
I
up.
can sum up, I didn't know whether you had questions for me.
Well, I wouldn't want to, you could sum up, but I don't know if I should sum up or ask the public if they have any testimony they want to give first. Would you want to give any testimony?
Yeah, just one real quick thing, if I can.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
Want to get it out of the way, so that way she can cross-examine you.
Is it comments or testimony?
It's going to be testimony. It's actually, I want to follow up a question that Chairman Del Gershio began during
All right.
his last set of comments.
One, I just swear you in, Michael.
All right, okay.
With regard to this matter, do you swear that any comments or testimony you may make shall be the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. A few moments ago, Chairman Del Gershio was expressing some concern about the geometry of this building, and that there are 4 two-bedroom units on the second floor and 4 one-bedroom units on the top floor. I'm glad you pointed out, because I was under the impression that there was symmetry. There would be 2 two-bedroom units, 2 one-bedroom units on each floor, so that the floors would be equal, equivalent, symmetric. But with what was revealed, that there are 4 two-bedroom units on the second floor, which is the first residential floor, and 4 one-bedroom units on the upper floor. We all know, what that possibly could lead to. Those one-bedroom units, since they have the same topographical area as the units down below, could be converted after the fact into 2-bedroom units. So I would like to know, I don't have the plans, but is there anything in the plans which is showing a den or office? Because
No, that's not allowed anymore.
It's all
Well,
open
if
space.
it is, you have to provide additional parking.
Yes, I
for
know.
it. But so these are just based on the testimony, these are just very big one-bedroom apartments.
Yes, you can see the pictures, they'll turn the page for you so you can see it. You want to show them, please?
It's all open space.
It's just
Yeah, that's why I said it's a lot of living space, I said that.
And any possible conversion of those units would have to go.
They would have to put a complete wall, and I don't think they would do that. There it is on the left.
I have a little bit of a problem right now with my.
You want to go closer, it's okay with me, I'm not preventing you.
I have to actually go see surgery next Wednesday with my right eye.
Look at the left. I like to be home.
All right, well, just a concern that those upper floor units, those one-bedroom units, could, after the fact, if this project gets approved tonight, likely it will be, could be converted into two-bedroom units, but I assume that would require approval from
We'll have to come back before the
Steve
board.
Lorenzo and back before the zoning board.
If this is approved, it would, the resolution would lay out 2 bedrooms here, 4 bedrooms up here, and
And any
that's
changes
it.
down
If
the
anybody
road
wanted to
require
expand on that, they need.
another application before the zoning board. All right, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, now you may sum up,
Thank you.
unless you have questions of that. No cross-examination.
Let's go with
No cross-examination, very good.
So we're here on a D1 variance. The zone would allow 2 three-family homes technically, so we're asking for 2 more living units with an upgrade in terms of aesthetics, parking, an amenity space, which adds to the area. As Mr. Stimmel pointed out to the board, we meet the special reasons under the MLUL under paragraphs A, I, and J, and the bulk variances, most of which are pre-existing with property as it's currently situated, have been improved by the project. Maximum lot coverage, while we don't meet the requirement, we have reduced it, and because of the upgrade with the building, we are taking care of the water and the drainage. Your master plan, as mentioned by Mr. Stimmel, encourages new housing opportunities, and this project on this block, which is eclectic and has some residential use, is right next to an already existing garden apartment complex and across the street from a factory-type use. So it fits in nicely with the neighborhood. It is an improvement and provides residential housing as noted in your master plan, which is desired. And for those reasons, we would request that the board grant this application.
Okay. All right, board. Discussion. Mike, please. What conditions do you want to put on?
Police presence, 100 construction days.
Police, well, construction overlaps into the street maybe. But if it's on the property, I think it's
100 construction days.
Mr. Rego, so you can write these things down.
Along with,
Yeah.
so the parking matches the apartments.
The amount
No,
of
what I mean is-
bedrooms.
So if I get an apartment there, it goes, I get an automatic parking space.
Yes, and if it's a one-bedroom, you get 1 parking
So
space.
it's in-
If it's
so
a
it's in there as
2-bedroom, you get
well.
2 parking spaces.
So it's in there as well, but it's
So
a
be
part of
assigned.
the apartment.
Yes.
Assigned parking spots.
Signs, parking spots for each unit. And that's included in the rent. You can't charge extra for a parking space.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I know.
I do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, you do it, I have it there.
5-key access for the rooftop.
Yes. Security key access both for the garage door and for the rooftop. Signs on the rooftop that no one is to leave children unattended. Anything else?
Well, in the event the board approves this, it's a D variance with use variances which are subsumed within the D, meaning it's one package. Lot merger, we talked about the police presence if needed during heavy construction days, designated parking spaces, striped and numbered. Parking is included in the rent, security key access.
And precedence to be given to anyone who has a car, an electric car.
So what happens if the whole building goes electric car?
Sure.
Are you gonna dictate that?
What?
I said, what happens if the whole building has electric cars?
Well, that's why I suggested.
Are you gonna dictate that in the ordinance as well?
Well, I can't control if everybody becomes electric, but I assume if that happens, eventually they'll put more electric units in.
You're dictating parking and what you charge and all. Can you charge more for an electric EV spot?
Well, I assume they would do the same thing as people would have gasolines. If their electricity went low, they would just go to a Wawa's or somewhere and get
So my
electricity.
question to you is, right? Because he doesn't know
Well, let
anything.
me ask you a question.
I'm not done with
Do-
My question-
Because I don't have an electric car.
Well, my
When
question
you
is,
charge up an electric car,
if you're a landlord, right, and somebody's paying for the electric, you charge more for that spot. Or you think electric's free?
well, no, I didn't say the electric's free. Is there
I think they have to use a credit card to
That's
Yeah, don't they have to use a credit card?
They gotta pay.
My point to you though, do you say to the tenant with an EV, what if they have no EV building? Everybody has an electric car, there's no gas. Who gets the EV station?
I guess you gotta put more EVs in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Eventually you have to,
You're welcome.
that's why I'm suggesting that you
So
put the
we say-
EV
I'm just here to help.
connection
Didn't help at all.
between two parking spaces. So that will cover half of the
I'm
parking
the other half.
spaces right now.
I'm the other half.
And if you have to put more later on, you put more later on, otherwise what are you gonna do?
You don't dictate, you make that the landlord's problem.
Yeah.
And when you start dictating like he's trying to do, you cannot,
What do you mean dictate? It's not dictating.
that's dictating.
We did this on the last case we had, although you didn't participate in that case, maybe that's why.
I had, in addition to our normal
I
conditions,
don't think, I know when not to do.
Well, let's put it this way, you can't charge, if each parking space is assigned per bedroom, based on bedrooms,
Right.
you can't charge extra for parking
No,
space.
I'm not
So
saying.
it has to be included in the rent,
But you would just charge accordingly with the rent then, that's it.
that's
I
all.
understand.
Well, number one, that's common sense. One bedroom versus two bedroom, they're not gonna be the same rent.
Oh, no, the rent's gonna be definitely different,
Correct.
plus he gets two parking spaces. But that's because that's what the ordinance requires now, one parking space per bedroom.
By ordinance.
and our normal conditions, and the one other one that I had, we saw A1 previously, and that was slightly different than what we had, I think?
I didn't make my judgment on A1.
All right. Okay,
I want that on the record. I did not make my judgment looking at A1.
okay,
It was the same one that we had in our package.
got it.
That's when I made my judgment.
Okay. And that's what I have as conditions, in addition to comments in Frankie's report, in Tom's reports, our consultants' reports, which are part of every condition in every application.
So read the conditions, that way we can get this vote out of the way.
Okay, our normal conditions that we put in about paying escrows, taxes, and the whole 9 yards, and any other compliance you might need from any other agency. Police presence if necessary during heavy construction days, designated parking spaces, striped and numbered. Parking to be included in the rent, security key access for the rooftop and garage, you said?
Yes, the enter through the garage, the park.
Okay. Lots will merge.
There will be a fence completely around the property.
Yeah, and we don't need a sign, if we're gonna have security keys, then do you still want a sign regarding minors up on the roof?
Yes.
and adult supervision?
Yes,
Okay.
because just because they bring the kids up there, that doesn't mean they'll leave them alone, they might leave them alone. And I don't wanna take no chance on anything happening.
And what was the one that you just said, Jerry?
What one?
You just said something. I was
Oh,
talking about.
I said maybe you were talking about, I said the electric, EV thing, or the
Okay.
hookup, should be between two parking spaces, because that way it can cover two parking spaces each, there's 3. And 3 covering 2 parking spaces is 6. So half the building will have, electric coverage.
Do the plans,
All you're talking about is moving it to the middle between 2 parking
do the
spaces.
plans show them already?
He shows charging stations, but
Yeah, it does.
he's gonna have to revise, he's gonna have to revise the plans anyway for
Yeah.
some of our comments.
Plan revisions, and then we'll, okay, so you want the park,
The charger,
EV
whatever it
charger,
is,
the charger.
between 2 parking spaces, so it can cover 2 spaces.
Got it.
They can't charge it, or maybe, if
No,
it's
they
a
have
double,
two
they would
cables.
charge both at the
They
same
can-
time.
They do 2 cars at once.
Yeah.
And they're quick chargers.
That's phenomenal.
And since they're gonna use a credit card for
Like
it,
a gas
nobody's
station.
getting away with anything. Right?
Okay. All right, that's what I have.
Hopefully we don't have
There
a
was
blackout, otherwise nobody will go
Also,
to
the
work.
thing, the 2-bedroom gets 2 spaces.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
You did that.
designated parking spaces, striped and numbered. Yeah, if you have 2 spaces, 2 bedrooms, you get 2 spaces.
Yeah, put that in there. per the amount of bedrooms that each unit has.
Okay.
Spaces per the amount of bedrooms each unit has. Be assigned.
Okay. That's it, Joe.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve with the conditions?
Second that motion.
We didn't get a motion yet.
I second his second motion.
All right, you're making a motion then?
I'm making a motion.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Anguita, seconded by Mr. Soriano.
Now, we need 5 affirmative votes and the alternates, I think Tammy and,
No, Tammy and Soriano,
they don't vote.
they can't vote, but he can second the motion. I believe that's allowed, correct?
I
If
don't
he's
know.
not gonna vote,
I won't say.
if he can't vote, I would say the 7 that can vote.
You know,
that's the
make
most-
it, so we can move it along, I'll second it.
Okay.
Mr. Milano will second it, so that makes everybody happy.
Good.
And I'm moving along.
Okay, are we ready? Clerk, call the roll.
Andreessen?
Yes.
Bennett? No. Giordano?
Yes.
Mafucci?
Yes.
Catalina?
Yes.
Milano?
Somebody?
Yes,
Yes.
Del Garcia?
Yes. Approved 6-1.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna take up.
Everybody needs a break.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, please say something.
We'll take a 10-minute recess. We'll come back in at 8 o'clock. The regular meeting of the Belleville Zoning Board of Adjustment for October 5th, 2023 will now go back into session. The next case on the agenda is ZB 2023-08, 178 Franklin Street LLC, which is also 178 Franklin Street where the building is, lot 403, lot 51. Applicant is proposing to construct a single additional dwelling unit on top of the 2-car garage at the said property.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Diana McGovern, again, from the law firm of Gascio Pomaco on behalf of the applicant. Today we're here for a D1 and 2 bulk variances. The proposed project is to build a 1-story, 1-bedroom apartment as a second level over an existing masonry garage. The masonry garage is an accessory structure to the mixed-use building which faces Franklin Street and is on the corner of Lawrence, right?
What's the use of the structure on the corner?
Corner is a bagel store on the first floor, and then behind the bagel store is an apartment, and then above that is one other apartment.
So there's 2 apartments and a commercial use.
Correct, yes. And so we're adding another 1-bedroom unit. So in terms of parking, we are short on the parking for,
Well, what parking exists right now?
right now, there is an empty garage that we are planning to build over.
The 2-car garage.
The 2-car garage. And
That's the only parking available.
Correct, and right now, no one uses it.
With that, he has a question.
Well, no, I'm just asking. I just asked the questions because she brought it up. And she brought up that there was a corner building, so I wanted to know how the corner building was being utilized, that's all.
What is that to be used for the tenant?
Sorry, the
Will the
garage, yes, the 2 parking spaces, one of them for sure will be reserved for this new unit. Currently, nobody uses it, but we would.
Well, why doesn't anybody use it?
I don't know, but we're reserving it for this tenant. So it's not been used since my clients owned the building, so this is what the proposal here is. So what we have on the existing building is the bagel shop, a 1-bedroom apartment. On the second floor is a 2-bedroom apartment. And above the garage, we're proposing to add a 1-bedroom apartment. The area is mixed-use residential and commercial, which is permitted in the zone, but this proposed project is not listed as a permitted use. It's considered a carriage house. And so since carriage houses aren't mentioned specifically, even though it's an accessory use that's already there and is permitted, we are here for a D1 variance.
So that means that we require 5 out of 7 votes?
Yes, it does. Yes, okay. So in addition to the use variance for having the carriage house, the 1-bedroom apartment above, we require a C variance for the rear yard setback, which is pre-existing, and we're only going straight up, we're not exacerbating that.
And for the parking, which, as we noted, we proposed to,
How deep is this garage?
well, I'll have my architect testify.
Well, maybe we should get him to start testifying.
24 feet, but I would like to call the owner of the property first. if
Go
I could.
ahead.
I have three
In any
witnesses.
order you wish.
Mr. Hodelin, if you please come up here.
Any order you wish.
Thank you.
It's okay with me.
Okay, Mr. Hodelin.
Could you raise your right hand, please, sir? With regard to this application, do you swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. If you could state your name and spell your last name, please.
My name is Lucian Hodolan. My last name is H-O-D like David, E-L-I-N.
Hodelin?
That's correct.
And your
yes.
first name is Lucian?
L-U-C-I-N.
Lucian. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hodelin, you've been the owner of this property for how many years?
3.5 years.
Okay, and that garage, that's the accessory use, is, what's it used for right now?
It's vacant because to answer the gentleman question, the apartment, the rear, the gentleman don't drive. So, don't own a car. The storefront, they only open for, it's a breakfast little place, small place, 400 square feet. They open from 7 to 1. The lady told me she'd been there for 25 years. She never used the garage. She just she'd like to pull her car right in front of Franklin Street so she can just walk inside the store. The people upstairs, the tenant upstairs, they had a car, but I haven't seen that car for months. I don't know if they have another one or they got rid of it.
Is parking allowed on the street?
Yes, there's one on the street, yes.
Okay, and you're not planning to expand the footprint of the garage, you just want to
No,
go up?
no, just go straight above.
And you're not going to put any signs on the garage?
No, there will be no sign.
And will you upgrade all of the sidewalks in the front and the side of the building?
Yes, I will.
Okay, I have no more questions for...
You realize the garages are supposed to be used for the apartments.
It's the,
I'm talking about in the law. The law requires a parking space per unit, at least.
right.
And you have, a garage could be considered a parking space.
Right.
But technically, you're not using them for the tenants. Now, they don't have to use it, but what I'm saying to you is, you technically have a business and 2 residential units and no parking whatsoever.
The 2-car garage parking, that's what's going to go to them. I mean, nobody, like I told you, the gentleman that lives in the rear don't have a car, he don't drive.
Okay. But you have a 2-bedroom also upstairs.
There's 2 bedroom upstairs, there's 1 car, and I haven't seen, they always park right in front of the door.
Okay. Now, Frankie, I gotta ask a question of you. Is this a legal, commercial, and 2-bedroom property?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Because sometimes they put in the
Right,
back,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
back of the store,
I've seen a lot of those things, I'm already
that was never approved. Go ahead.
Sir, what's your name, sir?
Lucian, hold on.
Lucian, how you doing, sir?
Hi, how are you?
Are there any other similar structures in that area?
No, I haven't seen it, there's the commercial space across the street, which is the community center, and then there's 2 other commercial property on the street, I don't know what they use them for. And then,
But you, what my question is, have you seen properties that have 2-car garages, right, and then an apartment on top? Have you seen those type of properties in that area?
not in that, no, I've seen it in Jersey, I've seen it in Montclair.
Okay, so I did some research, right? There is a building, but it's not in that area. There's an old firehouse.
Right.
Just down the block over here. It's a 2-car garage with an apartment on top. But one in the wrong area. Do you think that this property will be something beautiful for the area that you're in?
Oh, yes, it would be beautiful, yes.
And you intend on renting those properties or Airbnb? What do you plan on
I'm
doing?
not sure, to be honest with you, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it. I might rent it. I mean, my stepdaughter will be finish a master degree soon. I might let her live there for a while, free of charge.
And how old is this garage?
I'm guessing it's the same age of the building, 1923, something like that.
So do you feel that this garage is structurally sound and it could support an apartment up on top?
Yes,
We have the architect.
So we're gonna ask her some questions
I
about that.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What if your tenants were to leave and you got new tenants? Where would they park? if they had 3 cars.
Well, I mean, like I said, the garage would be still available to them, and whether there's one apartment on top of it or not, I'm not sure that will make a big difference, because there's only two spaces available. I cannot add another space, there's no place for another space, they have to use the street, they have to park on the street.
Yeah, but our problem now in Belleville that we're facing, that we don't have no parking on the street.
But I understand that, but what?
Right, so that's the issue, so
Right,
you wanna create another structure on top of a garage
Right.
and not provide adequate parking. I mean, yeah, you're doing the whole 2 things, but how many apartment units are we talking about?
Two units.
2 units.
I mean, on top of the garage or the existing?
In total, how many units are we talking about here?
It's 3, if this is approved, it would be 3.
It's 3 units.
2
Yes.
one
How many
bedrooms and 1
bedrooms?
2
How
bedroom.
many
2
bedrooms?
one bedroom and
Oh,
one-
in a commercial?
And the commercial space.
Wait, hold on, we're messing up. Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry.
That's okay, that's okay.
So I think one of the issues that I'm seeing right off with this is parking. Parking is a big issue here. It's a big issue. You're only providing 2, which I see, which is the garage, right?
Right.
But the other units don't have no parking.
The other units still won't have a parking, whether it's the one on top of the garage, whether I build the apartment on top of the garage or not, because there's only 2 parking spaces as of right now. You see what I mean?
There's a bus stop close by?
There's a bus stop
right
close
there?
by, it's a block away from the
Trust me, we
library.
don't care about bus stops.
Okay, and then across the street is a big mall, correct?
Yeah,
We don't
So
care about that
It's
either.
a walkable area.
It's a walkable area, but guess what? Everyone has a car. And you know why everybody has a car? Because not everybody just walks around in one area, especially on the weekends. They like to go out.
With all due respect, the parking space do not go with the tenants, it goes with the building.
Yes.
So whether you have 3 tenants that have no cars are really irrelevant to us.
Yes.
Right. It's all about the it's all
But
about
I
the
was
rooms, the
talking about the
bedrooms.
walking
No,
area
I'm
too.
just saying, I think somebody should let him know that, I believe him, but it's really irrelevant to us, because our decisions are based on the building, not the tenants. You have 3 tenants and none of them have a car, great. But it doesn't, in fact, at least my thinking,
I believe the law.
that's not the law. That's my point.
I
I'm not
agree
being-
1,000% with you.
That's all I'm saying. And, listen, I'm not gonna say we never give variances, we do. That's why we're here. But my problem is, look, using the argument that my tenants have no cars, I believe it. Now,
Right. But next year, when the lease is over,
who knows
it's a
when?
different story.
Well, that might not be forever.
But my point is, my decision-making is on the structure,
Yeah,
not on the tenants.
You said you owned this 3.5 years, correct?
Yes, yes.
Do you live there?
No, I don't. I live a block away, I live on Naples.
Oh, you live on.
Yes.
Okay.
That's just my analysis, and I'm not sure, I don't know if anybody told him that. I don't know, but I'm just saying, for me, after we just heard us talk about in the previous case, what did we focus on?
The parking. Actually, that case was brought back
Right.
because
it got
initially,
rejected.
it didn't have enough parking.
Right, it got
It only
rejected.
had half the required amount.
Right. So
Here it has none.
Right. So, again, let's say, I think we should, out of courtesy, let them put their case on.
Yes.
But I wanna put it out there, I'm on field. I don't wanna be a liar. I don't want to be disingenuous.
Absolutely. I agree. I like to let everybody know where we're coming from.
Everybody needs to be heard, all right?
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Do you understand that, sir, what he's saying?
You guys, you can explain it to him, I don't.
Well, no, let him put on his case and let the architect come up and give her situation on all this.
Is there a
And then I
plan for this?
assume you're using a planner too.
Yes,
Yes.
we have a planner, yes. Can I just have 1 minute with you?
Yes.
I knew it because there's a bunch of old cars. Yeah, they don't use it to live. Oh, I thought somebody lived in it. That's why he opened up his garage and that's what was like beautiful.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
To the right. Yeah.
Right on that street.
Yeah, it's like a little park.
Used to be the old farm.
Yeah, old farm. Yeah, it's really nice.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The old farm. Yeah, it's a beautiful building.
Okay, all right. We're ready to continue.
All right.
You're continuing.
We're gonna continue.
Continue.
Okay,
Is there any questions, any more questions for the owner before we go on to the architect?
I know.
Mr., no? I always want to ask if you have any questions.
The garage that you see has an apartment on top around here, well, you know where
It's
the
an
address?
old, we were just actually just talking about, it's an old firehouse.
Old firehouse.
They don't use it to live
They don't use it,
upstairs.
they don't live upstairs.
Oh, okay, well, I just wanted to
It's a
see.
club.
what
Like a
it
club.
what it looked
Clubhouse,
like.
yeah.
One house. It's not a resident.
okay, so our next witness is Diana Lee
No, yeah.
Coronado.
I know who wants to.
Yeah, he does too.
I know what you're saying. Actually, you can't afford it, so we said nobody can live up there.
Could you raise your right hand when you can, please? With regard to this application, do you swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth?
Yes, sir.
Could you state your name and spell your last name, please?
Diana Coronado, Coronato.
Thank you. Why don't you briefly qualify?
Thank you. Ms. Coronado, what is your occupation? What is your occupation?
Oh, I'm a licensed architect,
Okay, and how long have you been practicing as an architect?
30 years.
And if you could give the board briefly your educational background?
I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts from Montclair State, and I have a Bachelor of Architecture from Pratt Institute.
And are you a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I am.
And is your license in good standing?
It certainly is.
And have you testified previously before planning and zoning boards as an expert?
Yes, I have.
And were you accepted as an architect for testimony on each of those occasions?
I have.
I think it's acceptable. I never remember her before this board, I'll be honest with you.
No, I haven't.
You would remember.
Okay. Were you engaged to prepare the architectural plans for this site?
I was.
And the date of the revision, glass revision?
It's July 10th.
Okay, if you could please describe the existing site and the existing structure.
So the existing site, shown here, is on the corner of Franklin Street and Florence Avenue. This is an existing two-story brick building with a commercial space in the front, which is a bagel store, which is there. And
Are those photos, do we have those photos?
No, I think these
No,
are,
you don't. You'll have to mark them for evidence.
How many photos do you have, Ms. Coronado?
I have just 3 sheets.
Okay, why don't we mark them as A1, as a group, three photos?
Should I?
you give it to.
Assuming you took these,
Yes.
approximately when?
In July.
Okay, good. Okay.
So this is the existing brick two-story building right here. And there's a 9-foot wide alley between these two buildings. This is an existing masonry, concrete block, 2-car garage. The proposal is to, well, the doors right now are not, the garage doors are 9 feet wide. We're going to shrink them to 8 foot wide and move them over so that we can put an entry for the apartment at the front court. And then there's a one-bedroom apartment on the 2nd floor. It's 600 square feet. Bedroom is 10.5 feet by 12 feet.
Could you describe the exterior, the appearance, and the materials that will be used?
Well, I think I'll just turn it over. This is the existing building, which is red brick. We're proposing party board siding on this upper level.
Excuse me, why don't we mark that A2? I don't think ours is colored.
No, no, this is.
No, just mark that A2, Diane.
It is also sheet A2.
Thank you.
And shingles were separate. Okay, what about lighting?
We do have a sensor light over the apartment entry door. And,
Any other lighting? No.
no,
All right, the total number of units is a one bedroom, correct?
right.
And how will the garbage and refuse be contained within this, is just within the alley area with the other garbage cans?
Yes, yes.
And what is the current lot coverage on the site?
Well, I would say it's about 90 to 100% because it's all built on the property lines. And the alley is 9 feet wide.
Okay, and are we removing some of the pavement to add pervious coverage for this project?
Yes, at the end of the alley, I've taken out a piece of concrete there and put in pervious material. There's really no other place to do that on the site.
All right, and do we comply with the township streetscape standard?
I believe that the sidewalks would need to be repaired in front of this garage.
Okay, and the owner already testified that he's willing to and will do that. With respect to Mr. Herrick's report regarding drainage, refuse and recycling, we've discussed refuse and recycling. What is the drainage plan here?
Well, there is an existing drain at the back corner of this building. It goes to an underground drain. Right now, it snakes around that alley because I believe that drain was not working correctly, but that needs to be remedied. And then there's also a drain, a downspout on the front corner of this garage, which would continue up to the roof line of the apartment. And that also goes to an underground drain.
With this proposal, would there still be 2 remaining parking spaces inside the garage?
Yes.
And that would be it. I don't know if the board members have any
In
questions.
tandem or side?
Yes, they're side by side.
Side by side.
Just put this in. Right here, 2 garage
And the
spaces, 2
stairway to
parking
get up
spaces.
to the apartment as well?
Pardon me?
Where's the stairway?
Oh, the stairway's here. Here's the entrance to the apartment, the door,
Right.
and here's the stair up to the apartment.
And the utilities are gonna be what?
Well, I haven't really done the construction documents for the apartment. This
So
is,
we don't know what, okay. Well, you know, we asked, that's why I asked.
yeah.
All right.
Which side do you want?
The board has, I don't know whether you...
I can have a question, I'll start a question. On the right of the garage, currently, there is a small area left that's still part of this property, am I not correct? Small area.
Well, it's almost right on the property line.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
So what are you gonna do, knock down the front of the garage?
Are we talking about the front or the side?
I'm talking about the area you're gonna use to go upstairs.
It's in the existing building.
Inside.
We're just
Inside.
shrinking the garage doors.
Wait a minute, wait, the picture I'm looking at, you have the wall, period. Are you gonna knock down the whole front of the garage?
No.
Well, then how are you putting smaller,
Well, there's a center masonry column between the 2 doors, and the doors are wide, they're extra wide.
I'm not arguing that
Yes, so
point. So the
we'll-
centenary column, you're gonna knock that down?
Uh,
The column in the middle?
Just a portion of it and build more to the left of it.
Okay, now, to the left of it,
Yes, so there's 2 8-foot doors instead of 2 9-foot
so you're gonna
doors.
move the door on the right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And you're gonna have the steps go up there from where you move the door?
That's
You're gonna
The
put a door.
doorway is right here.
and then the stairs goes.
Okay,
into the-
okay.
See,
I thought maybe you were putting it to the right of the building, okay.
oh, no, this is the angled side of the building.
Oh, okay. So there is no space on the right of the building, at
No.
the garage at all?
No,
Okay, there's only space to the left?
we're not changing the footprint
Okay,
at all.
all right.
Miss, is this structure structurally sound?
Yes,
Your opinion?
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah,
It's
so,
concrete block.
I mean, it's over 100 years old, is that correct? Is that accurate?
I'm not sure when it was built, I'm just going about when the, I'm not sure when it was put up, if it was put up after or before the building was built, I'm not, if you guess, I don't know, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Ms. Coronado, you went to the site, you looked at it.
Oh, yes.
In your
I
opinion,
have been
it
there.
would withstand the...
Yes.
You went inside the garage?
Yes, sir.
So you looked at the roof of the garage?
Oh, yeah, there's a big steel beam actually supporting the
Oh,
frame.
there's a steel beam in it?
Yes.
Usual.
It's sitting on concrete pilasters, really.
Okay.
So it looks very sturdy.
Any other questions of the witness?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Mafucci.
There is also a chimney.
Yes, there is. There used to be some kind of heating element, I think, inside the garage, but
Yes,
that would be eliminated.
And there was a half bath in there?
There is a half bath, yes. It's in the rear corner, and there is a sink and a toilet.
Is that where the
Wouldn't
window
want to use
is?
them.
I'm sorry, is that where the window is that's boarded up? Because it looks
Yes.
like there's a window boarded up on the
Yes,
left.
there are two big windows, but the one on the right is on the property line, so we would block that out.
That was it.
Okay. Any other questions of the witness by members of the board? Questions by members of the public? Mr. Shelton, come right up. Come on down. Why don't you sit closer? It's my impression.
Well, that line of sight allows me to monitor my camera,
Oh,
make sure
okay.
that it's.
I'm just trying to be helpful, that's all.
These are questions of Ms. Coronado, right?
Yes.
Yes, well, actually, well, Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. I want to follow up on a question that Mr. Aguido was asking a few moments ago, and that was about the structural integrity of this building. We've heard some testimony of the building and the garage may be approximately 100 years old, not 100% sure, but it is not a new building. It's an older building.
Built in 1857.
1957, all right, okay, well, it is rather old. But when garages are built, usually they're not, the contractor isn't anticipating putting a second level on top of a garage. And for that reason, you usually don't have the proper footings for a garage. My garage, for example, has almost no footing.
Is there a question? Because you
Yes.
gave a testimony.
Yeah.
Ask her a question.
Well, have you ascertained that there are proper footings?
No,
Sure,
sir,
we'll get that,
absolutely not.
I'm sorry, if it gets approved, we'll handle it at the building.
You would have to.
Yeah, the board has no,
All right, that becomes your call. And
absolutely.
so what happens if you discover that the footings are not
They have
there?
to meet the code.
So they would have to tear down the garage?
They have to meet the minimum of the code,
Yes,
whatever
you
it
don't-
may be.
all right. We have no
Whatever it
idea at
is,
this
we have
point if
no-
those footings are there.
It's not at that point yet, it's
All right.
here.
All right.
We don't do a review on that,
All right.
it's here.
And will the footings have to be 36 inches,
They might have to be more.
more than 36
Maybe,
inches?
most likely 36, but we don't know, we're not there yet. I'm not gonna
Right.
even get into it until I see this construction set of plans. These are only,
All
pictures.
right. All right, okay, I just wanted to get that on the record, so you don't have any specific information at this point. If footings, proper footings are there, that would, if this board grants approval, then it becomes Mr. Di Lorenzo's responsibility to make sure that
Right.
those footings are in
And
place.
this thing may never get built
Right, all
if
right,
it's not right.
all right, okay, thank you, I just wanted
You're
to, thank you,
welcome.
thank you.
Any other questions by, I asked, you didn't want to cross-examine them, did you?
No.
Oh, because you stand and stood up. Any other questions of this witness by members of the board or the public? No. You want to call your next witness?
Yes,
ma'am?
please, thank you. I'd like to call Mr. Stimmel as our planning expert. Mr. Stimmel, since a half hour ago when you testified, is your license still in good standing as
Yes,
a planner?
he testified tonight, and we gave him,
Great.
the.
But just a different case, so
Right.
with regard to this application, do you state that everything, or your testimony will be true? still help your guy?
I do.
Thank you. William Stimmel, he qualified, he has qualified.
Okay,
It's
so,
been qualified by the board.
Mr. Stimmel, would you please provide a description to the board of the existing conditions?
He's testifying as a planner, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, nothing else, not an engineer or anything.
Just a
Just a
planner.
planner.
Okay.
The property in question consists of Lot 51 and Block 403, which has an area of 2,500 square feet. It's located at the northwest corner of the intersection of Franklin Street and Florence Avenue. Under existing conditions, the majority of the site is covered with two existing buildings. The principal building, the building located closest to the street intersection, is a two-story structure with a bagel shop on the front portion of the ground floor and an apartment on the rear portion of the ground floor, and then there is a second apartment on the second floor above the bagel shop and first floor apartment. The building at the rear of the property is a detached concrete block two-car garage with the garage doors facing Florence Avenue. There's no other vehicular access to the site.
The proposed project, what is that, the conditions proposed?
Yeah, very simply, the applicant is proposing to add a second floor to the existing detached garage and provide a new one-bedroom apartment on the second floor. Aside from that, there's minimal site improvements proposed in conjunction with the application. So there are, as you can see from the elevations in front of you, significant aesthetic upgrades proposed to that garage building.
And what is this property, what's the zoning for this property with respect to this project?
Yes, the subject property is located fully within the BG zone, which allows for commercial and residential mixed use, as are the lots along both sides of Franklin Avenue in the vicinity of the site. The permitted principal uses in the BG zone, I'm not going to go through all of them because there are a lot, but they include office, retail sales and service, restaurants, daycares, auto sales, house of worship, as well as mixed use with residential over ground floor commercial.
With respect to this application, it requires a D1 variance. Could you provide for the board information about positive criteria?
Sure. What the applicant is requesting is referred to in the Belleville ordinance as a carriage house apartment. It's an apartment over a detached garage, requesting a D1 variance because that type of use is not permitted in the zone. Again, the applicant has to demonstrate that the positive and negative criteria have been satisfied. The first part relates to the advancement of the purposes of zoning for the positive criteria. The first and most commonly cited purpose is to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of all lands in the state in a manner which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. You have the construction of new housing, which is a stated goal of the master plan and re-exam. You're promoting goals of the 2009 master plan as well as the 2019 re-examination. I'll cover that in a little more detail in a second, as well as allowing for more intense residential development in the metropolitan planning area in which the site is located. That's the goal of the state development and redevelopment plan. Purpose I from the municipal land use law is to promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangement. You're obviously rehabilitating that garage building, providing aesthetically pleasing improvements to the property, and you're doing it in a way which I think fits well with the existing building that's located, the existing principal building that's located on the subject property. Also have to show that the site suitability aspect has been met. Site is suited to the proposed development for reasons which aren't applicable to the adjoining properties. So you're doing this with no expansion to the existing building footprint. You have a site which generally complies with the bulk requirements of the zone. You're located along an arterial roadway. You are providing housing in a back area which has access to goods and services. The type of carriage house we're talking about here would be permitted in the adjoining SLR zone. So all the properties to the north of Franklin, which don't front on Franklin itself, are in the SLR zone, which allows for these type of carriage house developments. And in this case, you've got a corner lot with direct access to the new unit and to the parking from the driveway, which is just on the other side of the sidewalk. The negative criteria, the demonstration that the variance can be granted without substantial intentionally impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance. Based on my review of the submitted materials and evaluation of the surrounding area, as well as the ordinance and master plan, I see no substantial detriment to the public good. The application is proposing something that's fairly close to the mixed-use development, which is permitted in the zone, where you're allowed to have commercial on the ground floor with residential apartments above. The carriage house itself is also similar to the permitted carriage house apartments, which are allowed in the SLR zone immediately to the north of the subject property. Project is not inconsistent with the goals of the master plan and zoning ordinance. In general terms, the master plan talks about a need for a variety of housing types at a range of sales and rental levels, so that all types of families and all income groups can be housed in Belleville. Recommends rehabilitation of existing housing stock, especially for low and moderate income households. Notes the aging housing stock in the township and recommends the township look for opportunities to rehabilitate and reconstruct older housing and to maintain adequate housing supply. Specific to the Silver Lake District, there are several mentions in the 2019 re-examination, including the importance of developing the neighborhood around the Silver Lake Light Rail Station, which is about 3 blocks to the east of the property. It envisions pursuing a transit village designation for the area, which means a developed area which is less dependent on vehicular traffic and more dependent on pedestrian and mass transit forms of transportation. Notes the need to rehabilitate housing stock and the establishment of a special Silver Lake district within walking distance of the Silver Lake Light Rail. And it encourages infill development of similar setbacks, smaller setbacks and smaller side yards, as well as less parking to build the Silver Lake neighborhood back to its original character. And then finally, the enhanced quality approved because we're asking for a D1 variance for a use which is not permitted in the zone.
Can I just stop you there? I just want to emphasize, under the master plan, I think it's page 13,
Yes.
the master plan specifically states in this portion of the town, Silver Lake, that similar setbacks and smaller side yards, as well as less parking.
Less parking to build the neighborhood back to its original character.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Go back, as you were saying, enhanced quality of proof?
Sure, the enhanced quality of proof, and again, just to reiterate, this application has similarity to both the mixed use, which is permitted in the BG zone where the site is located, and the carriage house apartments, which are permitted in the SLR zone immediately to the north. We advance various master plan and re-exam goals and objectives as noted above. We further the goals of the state development and redevelopment plan, and we promote transit-oriented development. There is a bus stop immediately in front of the property. The light rail station is a few blocks away. And obviously, with the location on Franklin, there is access to goods and services by pedestrian travel as well.
With respect to the C variances, you could explain or list those and give the criteria for those variances.
Yes. Once again, this is a D1 application, so the C variances associated with it are subsumed in the consideration of the overall application. You're looking at whether or not the use is appropriate for the location where it's proposed, and with that is the consideration of the setbacks and the coverages and things of that nature. There's actually only one C variance which is flagged in Mr. Harris's review letter, which is the minimum rear setback where 15 feet is required, 0 feet is existing, 0 feet is proposed, so we're not moving that back wall any closer to the property line. I think it may actually be about an inch and a half off of the property line. We're not moving that any closer, the expansion is only going up, so that value isn't being touched, but because of the fact that you're adding height to that deficient rear yard condition, you are technically required to get a variance for that. So that's the only C variance associated with the application.
What about the parking? That's not a C variance?
Well, that's a good question. The parking requirement for the 490 square foot bagel store is 0 parking spaces because it's a restaurant. There's no parking requirement for a restaurant. There is, if you look at it as retail sales and service, there's 1 parking space required for each 800 square feet devoted to customer sales, after the first 500 square feet, and the area of the bagel shop is 490 square feet. So if you look at it against the retail sales and service, there's no requirement for that either. Then as far as the apartments are concerned, and this is all getting a little bit academic, I guess you could say, there's the requirement of 1 parking space per apartment, or 1 parking space per bedroom for each unit which exceeds the 25% limit on 2 or more bedroom units. So I think, and I would be willing to hear if anyone disagreed, that means there's either 3 or 2 parking spaces required for the proposed combination of apartments and bagel shop. However, the ordinance allows for an exemption from parking standards for uses in the BG zone where the site is located for permitted uses in existing buildings. So I believe that what the site is as it stands now is a previously existing non-conforming use. I don't believe it's, as Mr. Hodelin had testified to, I don't believe this is a situation where somebody snuck in an apartment in the back of the bagel shop without anyone knowing about it. I think everything is by the books as it stands now. So there could be an argument that all of what's there now gets a pass on the parking requirement, and that the requirement of parking for the proposed apartment would be satisfied by the proposed garage.
Why would the parking not be included when that garage has been there for 100 years?
I have no idea why the residents aren't using the parking now. Obviously, the gentleman who doesn't have a
Well,
car.
I mean, the garage was built for something.
Right.
I assume it was built for parking. That's what garages are usually built for, unless there's gonna be a business out of a garage.
I have no idea why no one is using the garage now. I think, from what I understand, the condition of the garage is sufficient that it could be used for parking. It's not a matter that the roof caved in or
But you
anything like
did
that.
say that each unit requires a parking space. Didn't you say that?
That is one way of looking at it. I'll be totally honest with you, this section of the ordinance is fairly complicated, and you look at one part and you think it's saying something.
You mean it's
you look at a
ambiguous?
different part, it says something else.
So, did I hear you correctly? Did you just testify, you said this project does not meet the goals of the Belleville Master Plan? Did you say that?
Did not, no.
No,
The opposite of that.
You said it meets the goal?
It meets the
Yes.
goals of the master plan.
Right, got it.
And you realize if there's a question about the zoning laws, this is the board that makes the determination on how to interpret it. I wanted to point that out.
I just want, if I may, so we're all on the same page? Can I just ask a question? So
Sure.
we're all on the same page?
You can ask as many
So
questions
look
as
at-
you want.
Look at the drawings here, I'm asking you.
You're asking me,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't wanna misinterpret what your client is.
Yes,
So, there's a bagel shop, right?
there's bagel shop on Franklin,
Right, and there's 1 bedroom behind the bedroom.
Correct.
Right, that's one.
that's what,
The other unit,
above,
come on,
2,
2 bedrooms, right?
Yes.
That makes 3, okay. And this would be the 4th.
correct,
We might make sure we're all on the same page.
yeah.
And we can argue about what you believe and what he believes. I don't agree with it, but my bottom line, I wanna ask him a question. So does he think it's good planning to have 4 bedrooms with 0 parking
Well, there's 2 in the garage.
for the existing?
They're not being utilized.
You counted all of the apartments, you counted all of the bedrooms as 4, and we have 2 parking spaces.
Okay,
So we are missing 2 under that theory.
so far.
No, all total, because that's the total,
But you're
including
gonna-
the proposed
You're gonna modify
apartment.
the garage somewhat to add a stairway, correct?
Yeah, but they'll still fit 2 cars. The architect testified to
Okay,
that.
that's fine. So,
But you gotta remember something, currently now, if we interpret the law, because we have exclusive power to interpret the zoning
I
law.
understand that, I do know
Okay.
that.
And if we interpret the law that there has to be at least 1 parking space per unit, technically, that is satisfied right now by that garage.
right.
So there's no reason to expand, because if you expand, now you are shy of parking space.
And you're asking us to make that happen?
Yes.
Well, I think the argument for it is that there is a master plan objective which is advanced by having development of a residential nature that is less focused on vehicle parking or less constrained by the vehicle parking standard. You know,
Let me explain something to you. Belleville don't have enough parking. One of the biggest problems in Belleville, especially in Silver Lake, is parking.
But the master
I'm not the one
plan,
who wrote the
singles,
master
the
plan.
master plan calls out that section of town and says there should be consideration for less parking.
Well, yes, maybe, but you have to have at least one parking space per unit, and you don't have that here. This is a very small lot. This is a 25 by 100 foot lot, technically, if you want to make it right, but it's not really 25. It's irregular. But what I'm saying is, technically, the amount of coverage is equivalent to a 25 by 100 foot lot. That's all it is. And to have 3 units on there, I don't see it. 3 units plus a commercial. Plus a commercial.
The commercial gets a pass on the.
You're only allowed to have, let me explain something
It
to
does.
you. In that zone, the way it's been rezoned to comply with the master plan, the way it's been rezoned is that you could put no more than 2 units on a 25 by 100 foot lot. And you already have the 2 plus the commercial, now you want to put 3. That's not allowed.
And that's why we're here for variance.
Well,
But
So much.
again, the master plan encourages, it encourages this type of.
is there any other questions of
I
the,
don't think he's summed up.
No, he hasn't finished.
yes, our attorney has a question.
Looking at the plans, Ms. Coronado,
Yes, sir.
the existing 2-car garage that you have listed, any car pulling in would seem to go to the middle of the garage? Is that right?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Or is that the beam?
Garage. Maybe the wall. I don't know, you're looking at the inside.
That's the wall separating the garage doors.
But she's gonna tear that down.
No, she's moving.
No.
You tear it down, you're
Right,
moving.
and when the car pulls in, there's a,
You're moving it, I mean.
There's 2 spaces for 2 cars here and here.
oh, so that horizontal line is,
In the middle.
which looks to chop the, yeah,
Right
there.
here, that's a steel beam.
Okay,
It's in this-
so both cars will go right all the way in, there's no, there's
yes.
no concept of tandem parking there?
No, that was,
Oh, no, no.
that was answered at the beginning
All
of
right,
the
all right,
application.
all right, just curious.
You know,
It's not deep enough for
the
Yeah,
idea that there's a bathroom in this garage gives kind of
Yeah.
evidence that it was probably used not as a garage. That's probably not originally what it was built for. Because why would you put a bathroom in a garage? No,
Probably a
it
shop.
doesn't make any sense. A shop or
Probably a
something.
shop.
So this building was had never had parking with it. And what we're proposing is that we reserve the parking for that tenant in the building, so we're not exacerbating it, because that's the way it was always used. So in terms of pre-existing, we're not changing anything, we're actually improving the site by making that a usable and reserving that parking space for that tenant.
But you can reserve that parking space for the tenants that you have now.
I understand that, but there's no incentive at this point to do that. It's a room with a bathroom in it at this
There's no
point.
incentive because your applicant has no incentive.
Well, at this point, he's got no tenants that need it,
Right,
so,
exactly.
you know, it's, you rent to who,
But
people who look
tenants
at it.
change.
I understand that.
Tenants don't
I do
stay
understand.
anywhere forever.
I do understand that. If you want, we haven't explored the possibility of leasing a space and making that attached to the project. If you'd like us to explore that, we can come back. But the point is that, as Mr. Stimmel's testified, according to the master plan, and the way it was pre-existing, this is really, I understand your ordinance. I understand it's supposed to be 1 parking space per bedroom. But this pre-existed that. And now what we're proposing is to provide the parking with this apartment.
Man,
I understand.
you know what the pre-existing was before they changed the law? It was 2 parking spaces per unit for the whole town. I know because I've been on the zoning board for 32 years.
But when
And the
the,
requirement in the whole town of Belleville, no matter if it was Silver Lake, no matter where it was 2 parking spaces per unit. It's been reduced now to 1 parking space per unit. And Mr. Valano's been on the board just as long as me. He could tell you if I'm telling the truth or not.
this building was built before you. It was probably built before you were born. It was
Oh,
built in
definitely before I was
1950.
born. No, you're talking about the garage and the building. But what I'm saying is, I'm going back to the ordinance when I got put on this board and when he got put on this board. That was over 30 years ago.
Yes, but I'm going back to when the building was built, and this is
When
a
the building was
pre-existing
built, you're
condition.
lucky if you had, those were probably for carriages. Because in those days, there hardly was any cars.
50s?
In the 20s?
Wasn't this built in 1957?
Believe me, that garage wasn't built in 57.
It's on farmland.
I doubt it very much. It don't look like construction from 57. Looks like construction from the early part of the 20th century.
Well, all I know is it's got a bathroom in it, it doesn't look like
No, I
it's used as a
understand
garage,
that.
and hasn't been
I'm
used as a
talking
garage.
about,
So,
my parents and I grew up in a lot of businesses in Newark, and we had properties in Newark. And this type of construction, this was like the 1920s, that type of garage. Maybe the building itself was built in 58, but the garage is way older than the building, trust me.
Can you let the planner finish?
Yes, let them finish.
Mr. Stimmel,
Any more testimony by the
can
planner?
you sum up? I don't know if you want to hear the history of what my client understands. I'll just represent that he was advised by the longstanding tenant that that garage was built because it was a plumber and he kept his equipment there.
Okay?
So it was never used as a garage, it was built as a commercial space. And we're looking to
Because of
utilize it. I understand. I just, just to put it in context, but the point is that
Then are you saying that there was 2 commercial uses on that property at one time?
apparently, yes.
Because Mr. Valano could check, I mean, not Mr. Valano, Mr.
Yeah. Lorenzo.
Di Lorenzo could look into that. Because his records go back very, very far.
That's why we're told,
Can we sum up?
Yeah, why don't we?
All right, so now, what do we want to do here?
All right, there's one possible solution, and that would be the area in between the garage and the apartment building could fit a compact car. We can do some
Are you
research.
serious?
It's the only option. It's the only option at this point. The space is
Compact
the way it
car?
is.
It's 9 feet wide, which is a standard parking space, but because there's walls on either side, it might be difficult to swing the doors out, so.
There's also
Listen.
windows in the back, so egress. I mean, you're gonna have cars blocking windows for emergency
The
exits.
basement access would obviously have to be sealed.
All right, let me ask you a question. Is there any more testimony you wish to give?
No, I think we have covered it.
Okay. Is there any member of the public who wishes to give testimony? No. Okay, then you may sum up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a D1 variance, and I understand the board's concerned about parking. It's our position that, based on the master plan, this area is to encourage more residential property use. We're improving aesthetics here, and by virtue of the fact that it had never really been used as a garage, at least in the last 3 years that my client has owned the building, this would, if rented, have a reserved parking space for that unit. There is street parking available. It is a walkable, it's the perfect place if you don't have a car, because across the street there is everything you could use, everything you could need. There's the supermarket, restaurants, other amenities. There's the bus stop right there at the corner, and you're very close to the light rail. So if there's a space in this town that doesn't need a parking space, it would be this apartment. And based upon the criteria under emphasizing the master plan, but also the MLUL, as Mr. Stimmel testified, it is our position that variance should be granted.
Well, now I open everything up to the board. Mr. Valamo, you want to start off?
I think I hear my testimony at the beginning of the meeting. Did I not?
I'm talking about
Nothing's changed.
on approval or denial.
Nothing's changed for me. I gave my opinion right up front, so he knew I wasn't pretending. I put it right out there. And with all due respect, I appreciate the case. I won't be making a motion.
You won't be making a motion either way.
Well, those are my motions.
Mr. Giordano, you want to say anything?
I'm just not happy with the whole plan. I'm not, to me, it doesn't fit the area.
Mr. Petalino? Nothing. Miss Rinaldi? No. Mr. Anguilla? Anguita. I'll get your name right. Sooner or later, I'll get it right. I will get it right. Anguita? Anguita.
I mean, there's a couple, I think I'm gonna touch base on a couple of them, is that all right? I'm gonna do it very quickly because I got some pasta waiting for me. All right.
Don't say that in front of me.
I think that if we do approve this, it's just gonna open the doors for other people. Okay, I got a garage too, so he got it. You know what? So I can get one too. You understand? And that's gonna be a big problem from that area because I know that area is under redevelopment. All right, so that's the issue that I have. Number two, I agree with our chairman when he says, I also, just by looking at the pictures on Google, it looks like there's two different structures were built two different times. I agree with that. I think your garage was built in one era and your brick face was built in another era, perhaps in the 1950s, because it looks more to that construction zone, right? To that era. So to me, I don't know, man, it just aesthetically, to me, is not for what we want for that area. I don't think that's gonna fly. So that's something that I don't know, as a realtor, and I sell properties and I rent properties here, I don't think that's something good for that area. So I'm not gonna vote for like no when we get to it.
Okay, well, I like what he said about that he agrees with me, but the other part is, I didn't want to say it before, but he's 100% right when it comes to the amount of properties in that area that have garages. And if they all start wanting to put apartments over them,
Forget about it.
there'll be a new look to Silver Lake.
Yes.
But Mr. Mafucci, do you have anything to say on this application?
In general, I like the general idea, however, with that parking situation, I'll make a motion to deny it.
Well, before you make the motion, I want to go through everybody
That was-
else. Mr. Soriano, is there anything you want to say?
I concur with a lot of the members of the board. I see what you're trying to do. I commend your entrepreneurial spirit that I don't deny. But currently, if your tenants move now and you get new tenants and they all get cars, on my block alone, and I'm in the Silver Lake area, every apartment got 2 or 3 cars in it. So for that's where I stand on that. It can be very congested in that area.
And he lives close to there, but not within the 200 feet that he can't go.
I get it.
Okay. And Ms. Bennett,
I don't have anything.
you have nothing to say? Okay. All right, so now are you entertaining a no vote?
I am entertaining a no vote.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Mafucci to deny the application.
A yes is to deny.
A yes is to deny, yes. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Seconded by Mr. Aguilar. Aguilar. I'll say it. Why don't I say Julio, it's easier.
And the alternates don't vote.
Yes, the alternates do not vote.
And a yes is,
Is a denial.
okay.
A yes is a denial. Okay, clerk, call the roll.
Anguita,
No, you say yes.
Yes.
no, yes on the denial.
Yes.
Giordano,
Yes.
Mafucci,
Yes.
Catalina,
Yes.
Milano,
Yes.
Del Garcia.
Yes. Denied 7-0. Which is unusual.
What about that?
So I'd like to tell you, I'm sorry, but that's,
We don't have it.
Did I say Bennett?
No.
Oh, I apologize, Bennett. I apologize, Bennett.
This was a good night. We got 2 cases out of the way.
Yes. Some questions.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Still gonna have that.